And we should be online. Hi everyone, with me today is Kim from Quest Portain. I think many of us know her from the Hangouts, from Dungeon Matrix Hangouts, but I think this is the first time we're talking to her face to face. So how are you doing, Kim?
Hi, hello everyone. I'm excited to be here and have a chance to talk to everybody.
So I think Kim, we know you best from your storytelling videos. So
Yes.
what we're going to do now is we're going to say hello to everyone in the chat, and then you can tell us the story of Kim. Okay?
Ta-da! Yes.
So let's start. Hi Charlene. Hi Mike. Net1 Videos. Good to see you. Lisa, Dungeon Matron. Let's see. Oh, Scatter Terrain. Hi Meredith.
Meredith.
RJ's Model Box. Oh, hi, new person.
Hello.
Hi RJ. And I think that's everybody for the moment. So Kim, how about you tell us about yourself?
So I have been crafting for probably about almost 4 years.
All right.
Uh, Basically, I started just because I had always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons forever. Back in the day when the cartoon came out, the original cartoon, I loved it. I watched it, and
The
that's what really got
Saturday morning cartoon with
the
the
Saturday morning.
yeah.
That was one of my favorites. I always watched that, and then I heard that it actually was a game. But me, where I grew up, nobody around me played. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and no one around me played. No one that I knew played. So I was a lot into fantasy, science fiction, horror. Oh, horror is my main genre.
All right.
Uh, yeah, so I was always into that. I, but no one around me played, so I just thought I wasn't going to play. Um, Even through grade school, high school, all of that, nobody around me really played, so I just sort of watched what I could. Then fast forward many years later, and the internet is there,
Okay.
and YouTube is there, and I started watching many of the different shows that are out there, many of the different games that are being played online, and I won't say blackmailed, but I coerced my friends. Um, I, I told them, this is what I want for my birthday. I had a big birthday party. And I said, this is this. Don't bother giving me a present. This is what I want for my present. I will DM. I will do it. I just want everyone to have a game. So they did. Most of them, some of them were into fantasy, some of them aren't, but they did. We were going to sit down. We dressed up. We had a huge game. They turned into more of a party than I was expecting.
So wait on.
Um,
You went into your first game with costumes and with. Oh, okay. That right
yeah,
into
yeah,
deep end, yeah.
no. Oh my gosh, I decorated the house. I put up all the Halloween, the brick, like not wallpaper, but the that you put up on the walls for
All right.
Halloween. I put that up. It was wonderful. I etched glasses with everyone's character names to give to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely
So
don't do half measures, yeah.
yeah, a DM was born. Because I knew it wasn't going to happen if I didn't DM. So, and obviously I went completely overboard because I had no idea how far we would get. Never heard of a one shot, don't know what anything of that was. So, basically, we started a campaign with just that one game. And I was trying to be prepared to do the entire thing. Uh,
Okay.
yep. As I said, I had no idea. It's actually Lost Mine. I found it Fandelver. I started out with that, and I was trying to be prepared to do the entire thing in one night, if possible, if it happened. I had no idea.
Yeah, that would take a lot of energy drinks.
Yeah, I drew maps. I had miniatures for everyone. I used the little nanofigs because I didn't know anything about painting miniatures.
Okay.
So I purchased almost all the nanofigs I could find, so people could pick out what they liked. And I drew some maps, and this is how bad it was. I even had money. I had different types of beads and had the different gold pieces, different colors, and I had that all set up for all the different treasures. It was, yeah.
Okay,
So
it sounds
so that
it's
that
it.
that yeah.
I'm sorry, I said it sounds like a lot of effort, but I can see that in the chat, people are trying to invite themselves to your next game.
but uh, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to have the entire experience, and it went really well. Everyone was really happy, and we had a campaign. We kept going from there. The problem, of course, is that it was for one event. We live in a lot of different places, so we
Oh,
really
okay.
couldn't get together. So ended up meeting maybe quarterly, every 3 months or so. We'd meet and have a game. And then COVID hit, and that's when I started. That I had started painting miniatures, and then COVID hit, and that's when I started actually doing the terrain because I did get a sort of a cheap dining table, and I cut out the center, and I put a screen inside. So we were playing on a television screen, and I'd upload the maps there. And that's when we met, that's what we would do. Then COVID hit, we couldn't get together. So I started building terrain, got a couple of cameras so I could show what was actually happening on the terrain.
Okay.
And that's where it started. I really, really started loving the terrain. So, and even though we don't meet very often, every once in a while we'll get together or we'll do a Zoom. I'm As you can see, I'm still doing it for some strange reason. I'm not, most of the things that I've built in the last year or so, I have never played on. It's just there because I'm building it.
Yeah, I'm sure every piece will get this moment.
I'm hoping.
Hey, touch wood. So, you started building terrain 4 years. So that's not a lot of time, but that's not a long time. But you have built quite a few pieces.
Yeah, it's partially when we're planning a game. As I said, I tend to go all out, so I will create huge pieces of terrain instead of just I'll make some scatter, but then I'll create the rest of it. I'll paint a bunch of minis and then the challenges. And when I started seeing the challenges, I mean, that I couldn't help myself. I started jumping in those, and I always overcomplicate it, but I tend to like it, the end product, but I always overcomplicate it when I'm doing it.
Still, I think you always manage to find this angle on the challenges because if I'm not mistaken, I think the first time I talked to you was when you had done the man's best friend challenge, I think.
I think that's the first time, yeah, we talked.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean the angle you had taken on that was like, well, okay, I would never have thought of that.
it was a combination, and that's basically how the challenges happen for me right now. Because I'd done the ambush challenge. I think the ambush challenge was the bridge ambush. I think that was the first one I
Okay,
actually
all
did
right, yeah.
on the and but the man's best friend that made me really stretch because I did not want to do a dog or a pet. I mean, there were some wonderful ones that use that theme. The thing is that the next thing that I wanted to build was a ship because I was hoping that in one of the campaigns that I'm doing that my group was going to get onto a ship, and I wanted to be prepared just in case they did. So I they might get on a ship, they might not, but I have to have a ship just in case. So I wanted to build a ship. So then I had to figure out how to make man's best friend fit with a ship. And so I decided to do it as a story, as to the reason that why this ship was called the man's best friend.
All right.
And because stories is what I really, really, really enjoy doing. That's what I wanted to do when I was younger. I did want to write, so I've always like written little stories and things. But I decided I'll write a quick little story to go with it.
Okay, I still have a question from Dungeon Matron. So you started playing D&D as a DM. You didn't play beforehand.
No, no, I just watched it on YouTube, and basically that was it. I really only watched it on YouTube, and and then watched a couple of how-to videos, how to DM videos, and um, just and got the starter kit, and so
Yep,
and,
right into the deep end.
and went from there because that was the only way it was going to happen. I realized that if I did want to play, I am, as you might notice, I am a very private person. A lot of people are. And so I knew that and I sort of don't really feel comfortable playing with people I don't know. I mean, I know all of you now, but
No, I totally feel the same way.
yeah, so I knew it wasn't going to happen if I didn't just do it. And I did, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay. Oh, Earthman Brick joined us. Hi, Stephen.
See,
And let's see, RJ's model box. Can I ask what the challenges are? So, yeah, way back on the Tabletop Crafters Guild, there would be monthly challenges. So, one of the guild masters throws out a prompt, and everyone starts building towards it. And yeah, that kind of stopped happening. So, we're doing 2 month challenges on this channel and on Net1 Videos channel now. Uh, Also, if you want to drop pictures of your work, we have a community showcase which we'll look at later in the stream, and I'm just going to post a link to that now.
yeah, those are always wonderful.
Oh yeah, I always love looking at everyone's work.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and we have a question from Net1 Videos. So is Kim a benevolent DM or not so much? Hmm,
Am I a what DM?
a benevolent DM.
Hmm. I will say, especially because of the group that I normally do,
Hmm.
because they're not really they're not really in it. They don't go out, they don't look for it. I tend to be benevolent with them. I have knocked them pretty unconscious enough, and they went up against a green dragon. One of them wanted to be mouthy, so yeah, he went out pretty early. But I did allow his friends to drag him out. So it's one of those kinds of things. Now people who know the game and have played the game and are deep in the game would have to be dealt with that context in mind.
It's like if you know you're getting what you're getting into, then the gloves come off, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, Crispy, nice to see you. Okay, so since you're a relatively fresh gamer, so
Sure.
do you have any thoughts? Like, for example, what was the most important thing you had to learn to do, or what was the one of the more challenging things you had to pick up?
Hmm. I would say, and I still work with this timing,
Mhm.
uh, because I've done a couple of one shots for either for new people, new friends that wanted to play, and or for those who can't get together with the group. And so I'll do a one shot with a couple of them. So it really is hard for me to end it on that one shot, wrapping it up for the one shot.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah. So I have done a couple, like the holiday ones. I've done ones for like Christmas and New Year's. I've done those for my friends, and those because hey, it's a theme, and I can cut it. The ones that the problem is when I create a one shot and the character gets into it, the players really get into it, and they do all these unexpected things, and I want to see what happens next. So I'm like, okay, and I'm rolling with it, and then I'm like, okay, I have to wrap it up. So usually I did one just recently that I did end up actually wrapping up, but then they said that they wanted to continue the story. I'm like, see, I finally wrap it up, and now you want to add on to it. It's like, but I do. I want to keep going. So I'm getting better because I said the last couple that they did, I was able to wrap up. But I'd say my two challenges are over preparation
Hmm.
and as I've mentioned, and making and wrapping up a one shot that I'm into that I get into.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about that. Wrapping up completely is really something that you absolutely must do. I mean, like, because okay, let's say that in your story you have your this main thread, yeah,
Okay.
and you want to tie that up because that's kind of the point of that particular story. But then if you leave the players going like, oh, but what about that? And oh, this thing was interesting, and oh, shiny. You know,
Hmm.
it kind of leaves that hook for future development.
No, I absolutely agree. I think the one that's in my brain right now that I'm thinking of is I did a one shot, and I'm hoping none of my players are um, in the chat right now. I don't think so, but I did a one shot, and um, they were supposed to escort a cart. Of course, that all goes wrong because it's supposed to go wrong, and they're supposed to retrieve the cargo and get it to somebody. But they ended up and they went to where they're supposed to go. And one of the pictures of piece of the train is in what I sent. They go there.
Okay,
They
let me bring that 1 second. You'll
Oh,
just
sure,
have
sure.
to point me to it, okay?
Okay.
And Irene G is in the chat. Hi, Irene. New,
Yep,
another new
yep,
person. Welcome.
yep. She is one of my players. Yep.
Uh-oh.
That's all
Yes.
right.
Sorry,
But I will.
we'll
But,
have to
but
mind wipe her after this.
it's all right. But where we're going is the one shot she was in. But it's
Okay.
okay. I can keep secrets. You know I can,
Okay, so which one are we
Irene.
looking for?
So let me see if I can get. I'm gonna have to move a little bit. We are going. It's called the hole.
Okay, let's see. Oh, here we are.
It
The
looks like
hole
a
in the ground.
tavern. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So Irene, this is very familiar to you. I know, but basically, I gave them a password to be able to get into a back room that was
Mm-hmm.
being guarded. One had the password, told the other person forgot the password. So they ended up in the pit
Uh-oh.
with the Udia. Odia. I don't know how to pronounce it. So they ended up in the pit. So that's one of the reasons that it turned into a two shot because this is where they ended up. One's going into the back room, one's in the pit. So
Whoops.
I sort of don't want to end it there. Whoops. Yeah, absolutely. So it's that kind of thing.
Okay, looking at this here, I know you use a lot of recycled materials for your builds.
Yeah, yeah. This one is mostly foam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically inch thick foam. A couple of oh gosh, I don't remember the video that I watched, but someone who did a modular type of uh, brick where you had bricks on one side, stone on the other side, so it could be
It
modular and versatile, and they sort
it
of
might
linked
be
up.
the it might be the RP archive, but I'm not entirely sure. So if anyone
Maybe.
knows, just drop
Yeah.
it in the chat, guys.
Yes, please. So I've seen, yeah. So because yeah, it was a while ago that I saw that video, and I'm sorry, I don't remember, but it definitely was someone else's idea. So that's a whole bunch of different pieces that can link together and be modular. And that it's a place called, I think it was called the Hole in the Ground was the name of the tavern.
That's the name of the image file. Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
I'm really
It's
liking
a it's a
the
tavern.
rock textures.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it came out really well. Yeah, it's a tavern and fighting pit.
Okay, and how did you get this kind of effect? Like, there's like sand or whatever splattered all over the ground. That's looking really good as well.
Oh, thank you. So this because that's an actual hole that goes all the way through the inch,
Mhm.
and the center is just a circle of um, foam core. And I think I used a combination of baking soda and sand,
Mhm.
and 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 then painted over that. I think it was Mod Podge and baking soda and sand, and then dry brushing in several different colors, and then just a little bit of dry brushing around the edge to make it look that
Ah,
sand
okay.
has been kicked up or people have gone in or out.
Nice.
Yeah, like the torches were a practice trying to figure out the the lighting on the torches, and I do like the creature too. Did I paint? Yeah, I did paint. Yeah, and I did paint all of those miniatures.
Okay, that's a lot more than I painted last year.
Oh no, I did not paint the one inside the pit. That one I did not paint. That's the
Ah,
only
okay, so
one.
it's one of the pre-painted ones.
Yes. Yeah, that one was pre-painted. That was actually purchased by one of my players of my original campaign, because they saw the nanofigs and they were a little bit too big to work with the train and the board, so they got a couple of the original set and they started using those for the players. And that's one of the reasons I started painting minis, because since we were now going to keep going and I wanted to be able to fit within the grids, I need to get minis. And then looking at them on the then I did not like unpainted minis on my
Ah,
on
okay.
my board. So then I had to start painting.
From what I've seen you paint recently, you're doing a great job on that.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy
So
it.
now this one, this is the masthead from the ship, and it's a conversion of a Wonder Woman toy.
Yep, yep. I had seen because we all
Sorry.
see those models in the Dollar Tree and dollar stores and things like that. And I had made statues out of some of them, and I did want a masthead for the ship, and I needed something of a certain size. And um, she was a perfect. I was going to make a statue out of her, but she was a perfect size. The most difficult part, of course, was turning her into the mermaid. I almost cut the lasso out because most mastheads don't have a lasso,
Hmm.
and then I decided to make her an actual somewhat character. If
So,
you follow, if you, sorry, go on.
you turned the lasso into a harpoon.
Yep, I kept the lasso and then turned it into the line for her harpoon. Because if you're I'm not sure if I made this clear enough in the storyline, but that the masthead is also somewhat of a character.
If I remember, it's been a while since I watched that video, but I think you had mentioned that she kind of protects the ship or something like that.
Yes, yes, yeah,
I like the color scheme is really good too. That worked really well.
yeah. It took
And
me a little while.
speaking of the ship, there we go.
Ooh, yay, the man's best friend. Yeah, that I really did enjoy creating the ship, and especially, of course, the main character Misa, who is the captain of who becomes the captain of the man's best friend. She doesn't start out as the captain. She 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 runs away to sea to save her brother,
Okay,
and um,
just in
mhm.
case if anyone is wondering, go to Questboard Trains channel and follow the videos there. There's a whole storyline going through, starting from the abduction of a child all the way to how far are you in the story now? It's been
I
some time.
think it's been 5 or 6. I think I've got two more sections probably. So I'm trying to create the dangerous terrain. I'm trying to pull that one, the dangerous scatter terrain challenge. I'm trying to pull that one into the storyline as well. And after that, I think I have one more, and hopefully to bring the story to an end,
Okay,
because it's got to be an end somewhere.
eventually, yeah.
Yeah, when I did the first one, I wasn't anticipating doing a second story,
Really? All
but
right.
no, that was it. That was just it was basically an origin story. You know, that the subtitle was it do you want adventurers? Because that's how you get adventurers. Like you want
Yes, I
eggs,
remember that.
that's how you get it. Yeah. So that was basically the origin story. This is how you get adventurers. You mess with somebody's family, uh, and they might be a kid when you do it, but they're coming for you, and they're gonna become basically she's if you sort of um, I infer or I imply, hopefully people infer that Misa is a barbarian, a human barbarian
Mhm.
because of her rage, her anger about what happened to her brother. So she's a human barbarian who's actually who goes off to sea.
So
So
yeah, I'm still waiting for the part where she goes like, "Hello, my name is Misa. You kidnapped my brother. Prepare
hey,
to
you
die."
kill me. You're gonna die. Yeah, 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 yeah. I that's definitely coming at some point. And the other crew members, once I've sort of established which minis were going to be the crew,
Mhm.
each of them have their own story as to how they came to the man's best friend and the beef that they have with this entity who has messed people's lives up.
Yeah, again, that's one of the things I really like about these builds is that they come with a story. It's not, yep, I'm building a ship. Here is a ship. No, here is the story of the ship and all of the crew, and this is where they're going, and this is where they came from. It, the models are already great, but giving them that backstory makes them even that much more interesting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it makes they've become more interesting to me too. I have them separated out. This is the crew, actually, right here. Pardon,
Okay,
because I keep them
okay,
separate
one
now in their
sec.
own little case. The crew.
Just a second. Okay, you're on screen. Lift it up a bit. There we go. Ooh, so you even store them separately and stuff.
Yeah. Now they're their own group. Like the crew.
Yeah, I keep being surprised. I guess I should stop being surprised, but yeah, everyone who comes on the stream seems to be more organized than I am.
No, it
Okay, we have a question from Dungeon Matron. How did you do the water effect under the ship?
ah that is it's a combination of plastic drop cloth
Hmm.
with I spray painted, not spray painted. I sort of sealed it, primed it with clear, like varnished clear
Hmm.
sealant, and then just painted a whole bunch of different blues and different colors on it on the underside, and then I think it was Mod Podge as well for the texture. And then the individual pieces that are floating on top are pieces of that that water bottle kind of plastic,
Okay.
like I used in the fountain build. And for the stop motion, I was using that to show the motion of the water against the sides.
I gotcha. All right. What about these parts? Like, for example, I can see the plate at the back of the ship that kind of looks like a buckle or something.
Oh, on the bow you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, those are those puppy stickers.
All right.
Yep. Yep. So I use coffee stirrers just to do the sides, the cladding basically, and then puppy stickers that are stuck on the on and just bronze primed and bronzed up, and then I just wrote MBF. Are you talking about the stickers or are you talking about the window?
The stickers, yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
the bronze bits. Yeah,
Yep.
because those
Yep.
stickers are flexible and they have their texture,
Yeah.
but they're all right, nice.
Yeah. 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 I enjoy those. I've used them in a couple of different things. Yeah, the floating terrain one as well. I think there was no, I think there was no review of all of the entries for the floating terrain.
No,
I think that's where it
that
sort of ended.
particular one just kind of died off.
Yeah. but I did use some of those on that one too. I just did a short on that one.
Okay, and the ship is multi-level as well. So I've got you've got this picture where you've got like 3 levels.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And sorry.
hmm?
No, and the idea for because I used the EVA foam, and that idea came from Cross and Campaign Terrain because I was watching his videos, and I had all these tiles of EVA foam, and I saw him working with it, and I'm like, let me try that. I may as well because these are all left over. They're not being used. So that's when I started using the EVA foam. I'm not as good at working at it as Cross is. I they still, if you actually see them, there is a little bit of a bow in the center. I didn't flatten them out and I didn't glue them down to anything, but I did. But I still enjoyed working with it and learning it.
Okay. Oh, I can see that Cross joined the chat. Hi, Cross, and
Hey,
also
Cross.
Mia. Hi, Mia.
Yeah. Yeah. I for this one, actually for the ship too, the you can see the stairs. I
Mhm.
used Scrabble tiles actually.
Really? All right.
Yeah, just built them up so someone could. I only had a certain amount of distance to be able to move a character all the way up the stairs. So I just stacked Scrabble tiles and glued them together
Yeah, okay.
um,
Yeah, that works.
so that it could sort of go up. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably have spent about several days trying to figure out how to build that. Yeah, but Scrabble dice. Yeah, you think you overcomplicate things. You haven't been inside my head yet.
I hear you though.
Okay. Oh yeah. We have these angels. I think here Kim has painted a statue of my guardian angel. You can tell by the way she's face palming.
Yeah, those were the I mean, for those of you who I'm sure you know Doctor Who or at least heard of Doctor Who, the Weeping Angels. Um, these are Reaper miniatures, and when I saw them in a catalog, I was like, I just have to paint them. I haven't used them. I think I used them in one build, and I put them down on the table in another because I just sort of wanted to scare my players because they would think it was a Weeping Angel. So I am benevolent, but hey.
I see here that you've got them painted in different schemes. Is that something like you were testing the colors, or did you paint different ones for different uses? How that work?
Yeah, I was just practicing because I'd seen different textures, and I'm like, well, if there's supposed to be any image of the angel is supposed to um be one of the creatures or a way for them to get into that space, I was like, well, there are so many different types of sculptures, so I tried a variety of different types of sculpture. The only thing I didn't do was wood.
Okay, I get you. That bronze is looking real good.
Yeah, I do like that one a lot.
How do you do the patina?
That was basically it was just a turquoise wash. Um, turquoise it was like turquoise. Well, it was really a mixture of the blue and the green, but with I think it was a little bit of yeah, basically a regular wash with I think it was a little bit of little bit of dish soap or Future or something like no, it must have been dish soap because it would have been too shiny.
Okay, just some
Yeah,
some kind of flow
basically,
improver though, just to get into
yeah,
the recesses. Yeah,
yeah, for the flow.
I mean the stone one here looks real good as well.
I think the stone one, yeah, I was trying to do it like ivory and stone and metal. And I think the stone one came out very well. I've done one or two statues, and I do think those come out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely looks stony. Okay, so let's see. think I saw someone point out the Necromancer's Garden earlier, so maybe we can take a look at that.
Oh, sure.
Start with this one. There we go.
Yeah. This was sort of a one shot because from the original campaign, the Lost Mine of Phandelver campaign, people couldn't meet at the same times. So I tended to do the quests as one shots. But I'm not sure why I wanted to do the Necromancer's Garden because that's not part of it. But I decided I wanted to do one, so I built it and I
Sounds
added
like
it
a good
in
reason.
as quest. Yeah, why not? So I added it in as a quest. So basically, it's somewhat of a maze because this was the first time I used jute as grass,
Okay, is that what you've got going
and
on here or on the side?
on the ground itself, and then I have some tufts
Okay.
which sort of form a maze, so they can either hide behind them because, of course, zombies, undead were going to be in that area. So there were areas of jute that they could come on, of course. So there were areas that they could hide to try to evade them. This is also when I created the what I called blood barbs in the later one of my more recent videos.
Okay.
The plants with the red flowers with the proboscis.
Okay.
So this is when I started creating those
How did you make
because
them anyway?
so there's a combination of uh, a bunch of different types of aquarium plants, basically.
Okay.
I think I think there was a little bit of a like a Dollar Tree type of plant as well, but mostly it's just them turned into different pieces, ripped apart and put back together and painted up, stuck together and painted up. So it was, of course, that was basically the part of the dangerous terrain for this because they could move slightly and the proboscis would be able to grab them if they came too close and could poison them to knock them out and then start devouring them. A couple of them have actual like a skull or a rib cage like right underneath it.
Okay, I got you. Oh, Liu Gwyn in the chat. Hi, Liu. And yeah, what about this rock texture here, the one in the center?
Oh, Oh, and I'm not sure what the difference of the styrofoam is, but that's the harder one, the porous hard styrofoam.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the difference of the name of that particular type is, but it is foam and it's the one that has that rough porous texture and I just stippled it and sponged it
Aha, okay.
to get that texture and just cut little stairs into it.
The stippling works out really well on it.
Yeah. Planed it down a little bit on the edges so it wasn't so sharp. It's floral foam, but it's not the soft one, I think.
It's not the one that's really crumbly and stuff, yeah?
Right. But I think it is one of the kinds of foams that people use to put flowers in or artificial flowers in to stand.
Yeah, I mean the super crumbly one I know is really toxic, but this one I have no idea about.
Yeah. This is a shot so you can see the tufts, those
Okay.
tall tufts that I made for them to hide behind.
Okay, an overhead shot.
Overhead shot. And I think I have a close up um, of the shrine where they had to go to get the stones that they had to retrieve for somebody.
This one?
Yes, yeah. So I had to pull that out separately because I had usually because it goes into the corner, but I did take a picture of it a little bit separately because it was hard to get a nice shot of it.
Okay, you've got the
So
LED.
basically they had, yep.
No, please go on.
No, so basically, at the bottom of that is a regular tea light,
Hmm?
but and that before I got it deeper into using light, but that was a regular tea light. And then there are those glow in the dark rocks
Glow in the
that
dark
you can get.
rocks. All right.
Yeah, 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 if you put them under light, they'll glow for a little bit, not for too long, but it amplified the light, and
Oh.
so the players had to go and grab some stones to bring back to a druid. Well, it's a whole story, but the players had had to navigate to the garden, get through the blood barbs and the zombies, get the stones, and of course the stones had necromantic power. So of course it was dangerous for them to actually touch the stones.
Yeah.
So they had to get them back. They had to get them back to their person.
Okay, so Dungeon Matron is asking, is that a lighting effect in there? That is a tea light,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, that's the tea light plus the they're plastic stones. I think you can get them I think you get them at aquarium stores as well.
Okay.
But they're basically plastic stones that stay glowing for a little bit.
Ooh, I need to get me some.
Yeah, they are cool. I still have some around. I have to fish for them, but they're around somewhere.
Okay, and Campaigner is saying, between quest board blood barbs and scatter terrain necrobotany, I'm starting to look at plants as I'm a bit suspicious.
Mm. As well you should be.
They're out to get
Yeah.
you, man.
They're out to get you. They're all out to get you. The oxygen is a trick.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, going into some of your painted miniatures.
Yay. This is one of my favorites. Um, this and the dragon. Those are the dragon I painted for that's one of my earliest miniatures, I painted, and I thought, you know what? I like these. It's like I because I'd been painting miniatures basically to be on the table and to because I wanted there to be some color on the table. But this one, I really took my time. I tried to make it look as much like the book as possible.
Okay.
Um, and I took my time, and I really enjoyed how this came out. This has been my my ID photo for a lot of times, and a lot of different. I think on Facebook it was for quite a while. Yeah, and and sometimes it shows up when I didn't expect it to. Like I was in this other group, and my camera was off, a Zoom group, and my camera was off, and this is what was on the screen. I was like, oh my, these are not the people
Whoops.
that you're supposed to be seeing that. Um, and so it's one of those kinds of things that I sort of had to swap out and then forget. But yeah, she's one of my favorites.
Okay. Squishy.
Yeah, this was the Illithid Temple build, and I had I had so much going on in that build that and I didn't know enough about photography, so I didn't have good close-ups of things.
Hmm?
So these are actually the sacrifices that were being fed to the brain,
Okay.
to the elder brain. Um, and so, but you really never got a chance to see them separately because it was dark and all that.
Yeah,
But they were,
I, I'll be honest, this is the first time I noticed that you had these guys in your build because I think we've got the picture of the whole thing here, yeah? Yeah.
I think so. I think I did put one in
I mean, this I remember, the whole setup, but there's so much going on that I never really noticed those,
there.
especially with the lighting and stuff.
Yeah, I had them because yeah, they were being held for the sacrifice, and then the little pots of skulls were what would happen to their skulls after the elder brain was through with them. But yeah, that the picture up now is one of my favorites. I have that up on my actual website because I just do like the way it came out um
Oh, yeah, for sure.
with the centering. So I like that character and the atmosphere around it. So
Oh, yeah, and
I do love that.
the octopus thing in the back that was last.
yeah. That took a while. Creating the temple icon that took a while.
Yeah, definitely worked though. Oh, Tina Martin's in the chat. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina.
Okay, the Crafting Godmother is in the chat.
Nice, ma'am.
So, back to miniatures.
Tentacles.
Yeah,
Yes, they are
tentacles.
tentacles. Yeah.
Okay, this is one of your more recent ones. Sphinx.
Yeah. Yep. That's in the build that I'm doing right now. Um, yeah, she came out pretty well. I look at her and I just like I should do more with her, but I have to leave things alone sometimes. So she is going to be in this next story.
Okay, I like the effect you got on the wings because uh, you got enough dry brushing to make them look kind of soft,
Hmm.
and that's kind of a problem I often have because sometimes if I'm dry brushing something like wings or fur or stuff, there's this line where like okay you've got enough dry brushing and they look soft and suddenly they're looking like they're made of wire wool or something like that.
Mm.
But yeah, I
Hmm.
think here you've got the if you're not exactly on the spot, you're very close to it.
I really was trying. I was going back and forth, and it's like, okay, I think I'm gonna pause right there.
Scatter terrain, it's about knowing when to stop. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That is good. It's good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, she's my new picture right now. It's easier to explain her than the than the night hag.
And we are going to see her in the dangerous scatter terrain build, yeah?
Yes, yeah. She's
All
once
right.
once I get the video out, she'll be in there.
Okay. So let's see. Going back to more miniatures. Ah, yeah. This one you were painting on the disc on the Dungeon Matrix
Ah,
Discord. Oh,
yes,
those
yeah.
scales, those scales are just amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was because it we all have our piles of shame or piles of potential. And as I showed on that hangout, I've got about 10 that are sitting right in front of me right now,
Mm-hmm.
and she was one of them. And so I just started painting her. I wanted some interesting colors, so I looked for poisonous snakes, and that's a pattern that came up in one of the snakes that I looked up again, and I don't know if it's actually poisonous, but it does have those colors. So
Yeah, if you see a creature that color, it's definitely. I don't know if it's poisonous, but it's definitely a kind of fuck around and find out.
absolutely, absolutely. Like, come at me.
Okay.
Yeah, and I appreciate the tips about the blood, about so it's not pooling in one place. So I appreciate the
Mhm.
tip about that.
Yeah, it's just smudging and stuff. Blood is one of those. Blood and the dirt are two of the things that people often put too much on.
Mm, mhm.
So you end up okay, they end up looking like someone showered in blood. It looks more like Carrie than Braveheart or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Campaign terrain. Karl, can you please show the tiles on the Nuala build? They were super nice. Oh, sure we can. So, I'm thinking he's talking about the courtyard tiles, so let's bring those up.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and as I said, Cross, you were my inspiration for actually working with EVA, and I didn't even realize I had this particular pattern in my pack because I had a bunch of different types. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I can use this. Did take a little time to paint it all out, but
Yeah,
I
because you have
think
to
it
paint
came
them
out
one by
pretty
one,
good.
yeah, I guess. Or at
Right,
least in
right.
areas, but yeah.
In the different areas, yeah. I had to figure out what I was going to put it's a courtyard, so I had to figure out, okay, what is in a courtyard and where would it be, and the flow for the actual for the stop motion, where are they going to go? So I had to working those things out. Sort of complicates my builds because when I'm building them, I'm thinking about the stop motion part of it, which tends to complicate it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think do you have to take into account stuff like, for example, you have to uh, the angles that stuff is at so that you know you don't obstruct certain views or that kind of thing.
Right, right. Am I going to make this work as a stop motion? I can have a build and have terrain, but then I have to show if there's a person that I'm playing with, I can tell them what's happening. But in the stop motion, I can't tell the the viewer what's happening. I have to show them what's happening.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I have to sort of rearrange things. Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought stop motion was cool and that I might give it a shot one day. Then I saw Michael showed me a behind the scenes from one of his stop motions that he and his nephew Elijah were doing, and we're like, nope, not happening.
Yeah, it does.
It's like,
It does get involved,
uh,
especially because I'm not a professional. I'm just trying.
yeah, I mean, you are getting it done. That's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Yep.
Okay, we have a question from Dungeon Matron. Question for Kim. You said you overcomplicate your builds. On average, how long does it take you to complete a build?
If it's a full build like the Niwala, like the Halloween one, or like the scatter train, and that's part of my problem. The challenge was dangerous scatter train, but I'm creating a board. I'm creating a whole board. So I'm creating pieces, but then I'm creating the whole board. So I've been working on that since probably about 2 weeks after it was announced, which I think was in December.
Yeah, yeah.
So I put a little bit in, a little bit in. So I can't say from start to finish. And it's still not finished because I thought I had it done the way I wanted to, and now I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to, especially for the stop motion, I didn't like the way it came out. So I'm going back and redoing an element of it so it works better for the stop motion. So that's adding a whole probably I can do that in probably a day. That change in a day. But I really can't put a time frame on it because I do like little bits at a time uh,
I get you.
over a period. But I have been working on that since just a little bit after the it was announced, and I'm not finished. I'll say that.
Do you sit down and make a plan before you start, or do you just have a rough idea and then you go from there?
I do not plan. I want to plan. Uh, I I think I for say for this one, the dangerous terrain. I was trying to figure out, okay, what is dangerous terrain? What are elements and all that? And I think I mentioned at one of the hangouts that I was going to do something with quicksand. So then I have to figure out, okay, how am I going to make quicksand, and how am I going to film quicksand?
Okay.
So so that's what makes it extra complicated. The so I have so I try to figure out what I think. So I tend to just try it. So I don't have as much of a plan as I would like to, but uh, so I do end up redoing things a lot because I because I'm trying a lot of new things over and over. So if I do it over and over, it's not new anymore. But I continually try new things. So I tend to end up liking some and redoing a whole bunch of other things. So I want to plan, but I don't plan very well.
No, I don't know. I mean, like when that happens to me, it's like building the same thing over and over in different ways.
Hmm.
Uh, what you learn usually isn't even the ones that you end up not liking don't usually turn out to be failures, but it's more like Okay, this worked in a particular way. It's not what I want right now, but this will be useful somewhere else another time.
Yep, yep,
So yeah,
absolutely.
I don't think that's a waste of time. Absolutely.
It's
But
just time consuming.
oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's always nice to meet another fellow graduate from the John Hannibal Smith School of Planning.
Yeah,
The game is the plan.
yes, yes. Jump on it. Come on in. The water's fine.
So Liu Guin is saying stop motion is such a cool art form. It always amazes me how much depth and soul it can have. Yep.
Yeah, and I when I the first one I did was I think one of the first videos I did, and that was even before the challenge. The first challenge I did, it was because I had been watching lots of different videos and I hadn't seen one do what I just did. So I said, okay, I'm sure someone has, but I hadn't seen it. So it was for a thatched hut. I think I have a picture in there. But there
Okay,
was
let's have a sec.
a thatched hut, and I'd used the
Thatched hut.
um,
Is that before
mm,
this? After tents?
or the recluse hut or something like that. I had thought that I had seen the spool from an old packing tape dispenser and the lid from a disposable not well not the yeah not the disposable, the reusable ones, but I had used it over and over. It's
I don't think I see a hut.
back up. Oh,
Is it
going
part
to
of the
going up.
floating terrain or something like that?
No, it was its own. Maybe I didn't include that. I thought I had. I'm sorry, I'm looking off to the side, but because I have a screen over here.
That's fine. You're okay.
Yeah, maybe I didn't. But there's like a little forest around it. But maybe nope, maybe I didn't. I thought I had. Apologies.
It's okay.
But yeah, that was
You've
the
got something stashed for next time you visit.
yeah. But yeah, so that was the first one I did, and I just sort of liked the idea of I built a hut, so someone should be using the hut. So I filmed this is my mini, the mini that you use for everyone uses for measuring and things like that.
Ah,
So this is the
Surf for scale,
recluse.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. So this is he's called the recluse. So
Okay, one sec.
he was the first build.
Can you bring him on screen because I don't think
Oh,
he was.
sure. I'm sorry. Well,
There you go. Hey, is that the same one you had on the shrine? All right.
yep, because that was from a set, the Wrath of Ashardalon set to get minis. And I got that while go to get some minis. So I have three of these. One of them was on the necromancer's garden. One of them is in another. I just painted up as a to use, and then this one is my recluse. He's my scale mini.
Okay. So let's see. Yeah, Cross also pointed out the stream of water in the spout. The trail came out really well as well.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That was I used resin. I used the UV resin for that one.
So,
I use that very sparingly.
so how does it work? Did you use because I know Meredith mentioned last time that she had used a bit of fishing line and then painted the Mod Podge over it. So, how do you do the UV resin in the same way? Like, do you put a structure and then you put the resin, and how does it work?
For that resin, for that I just used a silicone mat and I just traced it and had two sides and then put them together.
Okay, hey, that's effective.
But I think the fishing line is the way to go. I think that's more natural looking. That one I have to angle it a certain way so it looks right. I think the fishing line probably would be a better way to
Okay,
go, more natural,
right.
personally.
To know. Okay, and yeah, I remember this shot from the video. This looks really effective.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
what?
yeah. The that was the Halloween build, and I had a chia seeds, chia pet kind
Hmm.
of sculpture from I think 4 years ago, and I just never threw it out because I'm like, I got to do either I'll use it again or I'll do something with it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to use it for this. And then I had to build. So I had to build the cover. I had to build the temple. I had to build the temple with the hole. I had to build a cover for the hole. I had to build the spires that were whole, then the spires that were broken. So there was a lot of different, and that's the thing. It's like if I'm gonna show it happening, I have to build all the different pieces for it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you just quadrupled your work there.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the change of lighting really because here you can tell it's not a real hand.
Hmm, hmm.
But when you got the lighting on it, it's like, is it? Could it be? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, and I did have because I had different Halloween lights inside, LEDs inside. Okay, sorry, David, not I did not wire this. I had strings of LEDs inside that were cycling through colors, and then I had uh, a ring light on top that was cycling through colors. So there was lighting from below and above that were alternating. So
Still, they look pretty powerful as far as LEDs go. That's some very strong lighting.
yeah, yeah, they came out nicely, I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean that's yeah. You want to show something like an explosion of evil in there, so yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think there's some evil in there. How do you know? There's green lighting coming out of it. Yeah.
Okay, it's also from the same build, a different part of the board.
Right, right. That was the tomb where the um the person had gone to uh ask had bought her mother's body to ask the god of that area to bring her back. So when the adventurers opened the tomb, that's when the it woke up all the evil of the area. Or evil is relative in these kinds of situations. It's one of the old gods, so
It
it's
has its own
primal.
opinions. Yeah.
Right, right. It's primal. So it awoke the primal god that was there, which was the plan of the entity who has been plaguing them to try to get them killed again.
Are those drywall screws?
Are they?
The thing with the spiral on it on the side of the opening.
Yes, yes. They're the drywall anchors.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
They've got a pretty interesting shape. I saw this before and I only realized it now because I was just looking at them. It was like, hey, those look familiar.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a
I'd
nice.
use those. Yeah.
It's a nice use
Yeah.
for them.
I'd use those. I used those for another build. They were supposed to be extinguished torchiers. So they were holding a torch, but they were ancient and old, so there was no torch in them. But that's what I used them for before.
Yeah, it works. It's like it's got an interesting shape. It works, and because you're not expecting it there, it's very difficult to tell what it is
Right,
until you really
right.
look at it.
And that's what I try to do. I've got bins and bins of just stuff that have been that has been uh, tossed out, but I held on to it instead of tossing it out. So when I'm doing a build, I look around and say, okay, what do I have to use? And that's where it ends up.
So this is a case in point. I think this is another one of your
Yeah.
recycled parts.
Yeah, I really like this one because this was one of the earlier ones, and this wasn't for a challenge or anything. I just saw those caps from, and I don't know, I'd mentioned it before. I just saw the caps from different protein shakes, things like that, and you look inside, and there are these jagged edges, not really jagged, but jagged looking edges to keep it secured
Hmm.
to the actual shake. And I was like, these look like they should be killing something, and they should be spinning because I see them in my brain spinning. I couldn't make them spin on this, but uh, that's still in my brain. You'll see a build with them spinning somewhere. Um, but uh, but I decided that and how to. Then I wanted to figure out how to make the grating, and I'd seen the granny grating and all that, but I wanted a different texture to it. So I used the a delicates bag, an old delicates bag that had ripped. So I used that to make the grating on the inside, and then lots of lovely blood and gore. Enjoyed that. I like this one very much. And then I filmed a little film at the end of that because again, it's there. It should be used. Like
For sure, yeah.
I think I'm just coming to realization that I'm doing the stop motion because I want to play, and the only way I can
Yeah,
play is to do little videos and play with the miniatures. So I think that's why I do it.
yeah. I mean, it's a good excuse as any.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to go for this, but yeah, let's look at this little Godzilla toy.
Ah, yes,
Okay, and
yes,
I believe this is going to this went into this, yeah.
yes, yes. I had. Yeah, that was for a campaign that we're doing in an Arctic type of environment, and I needed Yetis. And again, if you look for minis, it's expensive.
No
If you want
kidding,
to
yeah.
get like 15 Yetis, it's like, and I only use it once, so I had
Yeah, it's I
some
mean,
months.
yeah, it isn't something that you play against every week. I mean, Kobolds, yes, maybe, but Yeti, it's like, eh.
Yeah, yeah. So I had some of those. I had in my learning of different ways to acquire minis and different kit bashing and things like that, I'd acquired a bunch of those dinosaur monsters and some of those old styled monsters. So I thought maybe I can just figure out if I can figure out a way to make a Yeti, I'd do that. And this is what I came up with.
Okay,
Oh,
there's another channel, Dungeon Miser. He was on the stream a few months back. But basically, 100% of what he does is this: literally take old toys and stuff and repurpose them into monsters. So that's another good place to look if you want to do more of this.
I was gonna show. You can keep going, but if it's right here, I might because I have another type of Yeti that I've made.
Sure.
See if I actually have it right here. If I don't, then I will.
Let's
Ah,
see.
yes. Ah, yes. I don't have the original toy, but you know the monster from Monsters Incorporated.
Hmm. Okay, slightly to your. Oh,
So,
one sec.
oh, I'm on the wrong. Oh,
Okay, we lost him.
there we go. You there?
Okay,
So he's usually like green with spots on.
okay.
Nope, and he doesn't have horns, and he doesn't have like teeth like that out when in his oh, there we go. I'm trying to find out which way I'm
Okay,
going.
where you are now, just slightly higher.
Or
Okay, wait, wait. To your left.
to my left.
To your
There we
left,
go.
yes. There you go. Bit further left.
Mhm.
There you go. Okay.
There we go. I'll just stay there for a few seconds.
Yeah,
Like, ah, which way? Which
just
way? Yeah,
just the
I'm just
paint
holding
switch
it
is
now.
just the paint switch is that makes him look different.
Yeah, yeah, and I added the horns, and I actually added an extra jaw underneath
Okay, so you
to
sculpt.
open up his mouth.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, because
you
the
sculpted the
toy.
teeth and stuff.
Yeah,
Ah,
well, I
nice.
didn't sculpt the teeth. I sculpted the jaw. I like the Citadel jaws. Um I adhered a couple of them on the bottom, and then put some green stuff to secure it onto the face,
Ah, okay,
and
gotcha.
then painted them in. Because the toy doesn't have the mouth is closed.
Okay, I get you. That's interesting. So the jaws from the citadel skulls, yeah. All right.
Yes, yeah, the mouth was Citadel skulls.
Okay.
I just the jaw parts.
Okay. Let's see. Dungeon Matron. Kim just inspired an idea for my next build.
Ooh,
Uh oh.
yay, I'm excited.
Okay, and Liu Gwyn said, make a fantasy version of the stop motion masterpiece, A Town Called Panic. I'm not familiar
I'm
with
gonna have
that.
to look at that.
Yeah,
I have to look that.
A Town Called Panic, alright.
Did I know? Did I know that?
Okay, let's see. Okay, going up next, we have the Woodland Shrine.
Hmm. Yep, that was the woodland shrine build. And when I because I'll think of the build and I'll think of, okay, what is a characteristic? What is something that I haven't seen, or might do something slightly different? And that's why I created the stairway that goes inside the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So they the tree that was my first sort of two build using a Pringles can type of build. So I used that, but then I created the stairs inside so that they could actually physically travel up the stairs. And then they got to a certain point, they had to go outside the tree, and that's then the moss grew outside the tree for them to travel up to the top. So there were some, and they had to light the flame, the woodland flame of the shrine,
Which is also a tea light, yeah?
which was a tea light that I put underneath
Ooh, is this
and put some glue on top.
is this another one of your painted miniatures? The one in the
Yeah,
center?
yes, that I do like that one very much. It's actually from Cool Mini or Not. I got a Cthulhu set from Cool Mini or Not because they had some really good Eldritch horror types. And even though I decided to paint it up pretty for this, um, but it really is a creepy looking thing.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's
It's very creepy
a
looking.
lovely paint job on it.
Thank you. I just wanted it to match the rest because the rest of it was nice and woodland, but it's dangerous, but it's pretty.
Okay, so next, okay, with this
Yeah,
marble looking thing.
yep, that was out of the Lost Mine of Fandelver. This is, as I was saying, it wasn't completed the first day for the first game, but I had prepared to get all the way to the end of it for the first game. I didn't have this built. I built that a little bit later, but the but yeah, I painted up the statue that was a just because it's supposed to be a statue in that room. The marble is basically just colored paper that you get in any craft store, and I
That's
just
the one
Mod Podge it
on the base, yeah.
on the base. I did paint the individual uh, pillars. I did paint that marble, and I painted the marble on the onto the statue.
But this is a good looking marble effect. How do you do that?
That was basically just layers of ivory and tan, and then a couple of veins, and then a little bit some glaze of ivory and tan, then a couple of other veins. So just try to vein it across.
Okay, sounds like just you draw the veins and then you kind of try to fade them out a little. Is that what you were talking about?
Yep, yep.
All right.
And yep, go over it again a little bit so you can sort of figure out the depth, that there's a bit of depth to it. But yeah, just multiple layers.
Okay, so next time someone asks me about this, I'll point them in your direction.
Ooh,
Okay,
I'll try my best.
because last time someone asked for advice about this, between us we almost got someone to knock themselves out.
Oh,
That was when
no.
I think it was yeah, it was Lisa. So we told her, okay, put down the washes and stuff and inks, and then blow a straw, blow on them through a straw to get the movements. which
Could
worked,
be.
but you know, when you're just blowing and blowing and blowing, that at some point you're going to get lightheaded. Or
I've seen a couple of different things. I saw somebody do use an old dryer sheet. I'm very,
Mhm.
very, I'm a very big supporter of old dryer sheets, but actually putting that on something and tightening it down and painting over that, and then letting it dry completely, pulling it up, and then like glazing over that. I haven't tried that one yet, but that's an interesting one too. I've seen.
I've seen that done with spray cans and
Mm.
what do you call it? So dryer sheet, spray can, or airbrush, and then you just use the dryer sheet as a mask.
Right, right. Yeah, I haven't done that one yet.
Yeah, I haven't had the occasion to try it. I haven't. I don't think I've ever done any large marble thingies, but yeah, one day maybe. Okay, this is the let's see, Wave Echo Cave entry.
That's the entry. Yep. It's going. So as you can see, I had, and when I did it was just, yeah, just at the end of last year, I got a small group of the people of the original campaign to try to just finish it out because again, it had been going on for years and it was so infrequent that we met. So I wanted to finish it out. And I basically bought everything with me, even though we were only having one session. I bought all
That's a
this
lot of
stuff with me.
stuff.
Yeah, I said I can't help it. But they and I had Cragmaw because I did Cragmaw and that's where they were.
Okay,
So I bought
we can look
Cragmaw
at
with
it.
me.
That we can look at that in a second. It's coming up soon.
Yeah, yeah. I bought all of that with me, just because I didn't know where they were gonna go, and if they did, I wanted to show off. Hey, I did this for you. So I did want them to see it if we actually ended up going anywhere.
Okay, I can understand the urge to do that because yeah, I mean you build all this, you want people to see it, but how do you pull it off? I mean, did you hire a shipping container or something like that? Because
No, yeah, it was because yeah, no, it was just I have an SUV.
okay, yeah, close enough.
So that's why I was able to put it in there, yeah.
Okay, oh yeah, another question. I saw that you use a lot of packaging from appliances and things like that.
Yep.
Where do you get all that? It's like because I think
Oh,
even the Mind Flayer Temple, I think that that used up quite a bit
mhm.
of foam packaging and stuff.
Yep, yep. The Mind Flayer one was its own insert, and I think that was an instant pot. Um, the was it this the what I'm doing for the dangerous terrain? That actually, what I did for the dangerous terrain was part of it was another appliance that I got recently. The Instant Pot was a couple years. This was another appliance, but also where I work, they had gotten new, not computers, oh, new monitors
Okay,
and keyboards. So I had a whole bunch. So I asked them if I could grab that packaging. So I grabbed the. Yeah, I took the stuff home from work because they'd unpacked it all and they were just going to toss it. So I
exactly.
took
I mean, it's going
that
to
piece
bin
of
anyway.
packaging. Yeah, so I took that packaging. If it looks interesting, I'll see. I'll ask if I can grab it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's always good to have these scavenging tips.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. That's the deep pool. That was all. That was my first attempt to do water.
okay, and
Because
it's just
basically,
it's painted and layered on, I think. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I had some modeling. I'd used some modeling paste, and then different layers, some metallics, some glosses, and then glossed it over with Mod Podge.
I think it's really interesting to see the progression from this to the one that you had on the ship.
Yep,
Yep, you learn
yep.
stuff.
Just trying
You're learning stuff.
trying different things. I know, yeah, absolutely. Different ways of trying to get the same thing done. Try to get it better.
Let's see, Dungeon Matron, I have XPS envy so bad right now. across. I have absolute piles of PPS, none with the cool ball shapes though. And Meredith saying
Oh,
repurposing work trash for the win.
absolutely. That I do want that to be sort of my focus. The first thing I think of is what do I already have? Because I do have to my left, right over here, out of shot. You can see it. I've got a whole bunch of cardboard over here. I've got some foam over there. I've got some minis under here. I've got some wood pieces over, so that's all over the place.
Yeah, I think I can speak for everyone in the chat and everyone who's watching it. We know the feeling.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. That's why I was so happy when I did find the Facebook group. I think Wylock was the first place that I saw that mentioned it, and I think and I did go there, so I was very glad to find that because you understand my pain.
It's not a pain, it's a resource.
Yes,
Okay.
like birthing pains. Oh, so I've heard.
Okay, and this is your Craigmore Castle.
Yeah, that's my overview of Cragmaw. That was um that was the this was my first foray into using like the spray foam
Okay.
because I use that spray foam to make the circles, and I
Seriously?
measured it out. I was very proud of myself that I measured this out. um, but yeah, I used the spray foam to make the circles and then cut the 1 inch walls into it. Because I wanted, because I didn't really know much about cutting actual circles in foam. I don't have a Proxon, and I knew that it wouldn't come out right. So I felt that it would be a more natural flow if I just created a circle out of it and then just cut it up.
So this literally just this normal spray construction foam, just drew a circle and then smoothed
Yeah.
up the. Huh.
I did cut into a 1 inch. I did a circle of it, and of course it expanded out, and then I cut around it into the circle. And then I did put I used like the 1/8 inch foam core and put that at the very top.
Okay, yeah, to clean up the top and stuff, you mean?
Right, just to clean it up.
Ah. I mean, the effect really worked. No arguments there. Okay.
And the braziers were little tiny bits of XPS foam with a battery underneath. I took the light out of a tea light um, because the tea lights were too big to fit on the 1 inch grid. So I took the light out of the tea light and put the battery underneath for those particular ones, so they would fit.
Yeah, that's a good. Are these the same ones? Let's see.
No, those are different. The other ones are different. Those are a little bit bigger,
Okay.
but these I think are
Sorry.
smarter. No, either
These
way.
ones? Okay.
Yeah, those I think are smarter because those are just two bottle caps, two translucent bottle caps on top of each other, top to top.
Uh-huh.
And then the again, I pulled it out of a tea light because I didn't know about ordering LEDs. Just drilled a couple holes, put the leads down uh, through it, and so I can. And actually, the battery fits really nicely inside the second bottle cap because you know how there's usually that little lip in some of them.
Yeah.
So it fit really nicely in there, and then a little bit of hot glue on top with maybe a couple of beads to show the different coals.
Yeah, I like the effect. You know what I especially like about this is that you have that railing thing going on, and it's like that's just painted on the bottle cap.
Yes, yep, yeah, it's just painted.
And but again, I mean, from this distance, okay, it has a railing or a grate or something.
Yeah,
It's like
yep.
yeah. Again, I'd probably okay, but how do I build this tiny? How does it work?
And I tried cutting it out, and it's like, oh, that's just too tight. Yeah, it's just too tiny. So I just painted it, ended up painting on. But I did try different ways.
I mean, no, this is seriously efficient. I like the sorry, I like the rocks with the those are also packaging inserts, yeah.
Yes, yes, that's basically paper packaging, the paper cardboard form packaging. And that's going to be in the dangerous terrain as well.
Ooh, Brad Craig, hi Brad, new human, yay!
Yay,
Would spray foam work with a mold? You could make a circle from foam and spray inside it. If
maybe.
if it's a silicone mold, it probably would. You might get a lot of bubbling and what do you call it? Because you wouldn't have
Uh,
any pressure on it to keep it inside. So might I'm sure it will come up with an interesting shape. It might not be the shape you wanted, but other than that, yeah, molds would work fine. But I would go for silicone because otherwise it's going to be stuck in there forever.
for me, it's just the time making the mold. And again, I want to plan more, but right now I'm not that good at planning. So for me, making the mold would be more labor intensive for me than doing the spray and then cutting it down.
On the other hand, I mean, if you just wanted a circle, a cake mold would probably work perfectly.
Ah, that's good. I like that. That's a good idea. That's true.
I mean, you just have to look for the shapes, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Like a bundt cake or something. Small bundt
Mhm.
cake. Hmm, it's nice.
So
I like
let's
that.
see. Dungeon Mating, Kim, are all your phone bills done with EPS?
Almost all of it is XPS. A little bit of it is EVA. Um, I only use the spray. I think the EPS is the spray, correct?
The EPS is the one with the bubbles. It's the one used in the cave entrance here.
Oh,
The
yes, that's the
normal packaging foam, yeah.
yeah, that's the crumbly one. Okay. I don't I have some of that, but most of the time it's either the XPS or or the EVA. But actually, yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of EPS, but most of it is a little bit tighter than this particular one. This thing is still spongy. When you do
Yeah, I get you.
squeeze it, you can still feel it. Yeah, right. Yeah, when you press. But the most of the ones that I have is a little bit heavier, but it is like the packing foam, the EPS. A lot of it is EPS.
Okay, that's one of the best things I found about using a Proxon or a hotware cutter or whatever, but even a hotware knife, because normally that sheds while you're working, it sheds pieces all over the place.
Mm,
But once you cauterize it, it gets locked in and it makes a harder surface,
yeah,
which
absolutely.
makes it usable for a lot more things. But yeah, again, you can do quite a lot of stuff with it, as you did here.
Yeah. The fun thing about this one is that was the shape of the foam itself, and that's why I thought of it as the entrance
Hmm.
because of the pit. I didn't dig that out. I textured it. I dug out little rivulets like a quarry, so it looked like it was collapsing in, but the circle was already in there for the foam.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we were saying just a second earlier. You look for
Yeah,
the shapes and put them in there. Same thing exactly.
yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Thunder Tree. Ah, yes. Okay, let's look at this one.
Yeah. Yeah,
This was
Thunder Tree was my first
wow.
full set of terrain. That was my first full thing because that's when COVID hit and we had to go online. And having the TV screen didn't translate very well on video, so
Yeah, I get you.
I was like, I had to
So
go analog.
I think there's quite a lot of stuff going on here. I think
Yeah.
let's see. Are we looking at painted ground? I think is that just painted?
Yeah, part of it. So that is actually cardboard. The bottom itself is cardboard. I painted out the paths, and I did put some baking soda on the paths to make it a little bit more sandy, give it a little bit of texture. So I painted that. I painted grass generally on the cardboard itself. And then in certain areas that were supposed to be the difficult terrain, I used like the coconut core.
Okay, is that what you've got going around the trees, for example?
Yeah, right in the upper right of the screen where you see that little stand of trees there.
Uh-huh.
That's coconut core, and actually I used what's the sheets that are really thin. I think it is EVA, but it's like used in construction for kids crafts, the very thin foam.
The
I
very
used that.
that's the one that Cross uses, yeah.
Yes, yeah, but yeah, I,
EVA foam.
yeah, yeah, it might be the very thin EVA. So I used that, and then I put the some coconut core around that and on that, and then I flocked it with some shredded um, floral foam. Which, yes, I don't do that anymore, but I
Yeah.
had grated up the floral foam and painted that up. So it's a combination of a lot of different textures, plus some moss. I used some moss on those as well to
Right.
delineate where the difficult terrain was.
Yeah, I really like that. I like texturing stuff and everything, but I think that painted boards like this are terribly underrated.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too much. It would just be too much. And again, it was my first foray really into it. So like it would just be too much to actually try to put grass across the whole thing. I I I I, I didn't have the I didn't have it in me to do it then.
No,
Now
and
I
I
love
think that that looks very good anyway. And I've got this thing, for example, because if you played 80s or 90s board games or war games, then you probably this would be the board that you would be getting. So it's got
it.
this kind of nostalgia factor to it.
Okay. Yeah, you got this the spider eggs and the spider webs, and
Ooh, right?
I use little tiny magnets to hold the doors on to the
To the
little
buildings here.
air houses. Yeah, to the buildings, yeah.
Those rocks look interesting too.
Oh, those. So I used like three or four different types of tree builds because again, I was watching a whole bunch of different videos. So some of those are just chunks of XPS foam cut up and put on a skewer and painted that way.
The, the,
Some of it
those
is,
would be
yeah, like,
these guys, yeah.
yeah, right there. Some
All
of
right.
them are chunky, some of them, yes, those are the
Oh,
XPS foam ones.
okay. So I thought they were rocks. Okay.
No, no, yeah, no, those are different types of trees. Um, then the light green ones are
Uh,
a
the fluffier ones.
like the plant. Yeah, the fluffy looking ones. They're like a plant. You can get it at any craft store or the dollar stores. They are long, fuzzy looking plants, wisteria, I think maybe, and I cut them up and made them into puffy, puffy kind of plants.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the different iterations of the trees here.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, and this dryer sheet or something, and spider
yep,
web, I guess.
yep. Dryer sheets for the spider webs. Yeah.
It's definitely I hope you got some or get some playing time out of this because I think you could have a lot of fun playing on that board.
This one was up in my kitchen for I think for a couple of months, so that we could because taking it down and putting it back up would just be
Oh
too much work and I'd forget
yeah.
things. So I just left it up for a couple of months till we were able to get through the entire Thunder Tree part of it. And this is where my dragon was. Yeah, that's more of a close up.
Let's see. Tents.
Yeah, that those were part of my the Chieftain of the Swamp build, which was I don't know if it was a challenge.
Yeah, but you know what the first thing I get, the first feeling I get when I look at this picture?
What?
It's like if I was standing in there, it was like, yep, looks like those tents are made of dragon hide.
Yeah,
I do not want to see I don't want to meet the person who owns a dragon hide tent. It's like
right. You assume that they earned it somehow. You assume that they earned it.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people in there whose surname is the Slayer. You know, Bob the Slayer, Jim the
Yes,
Slayer.
that's like, yep. And so yeah, and I had some textured, not cloth, but like faux leather. So I just sat down and painted the individual pieces and chopped it up to make into tents. Those are basically like yogurt cups and things like
All
that
right.
that I layered.
Okay, and more iterations of the trees and plants. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I like how I did the little flower thingies.
Yes, yeah. I made that for the woodland shrine. So
Oh yeah,
I
I remember
use
that. Yeah.
those, and that's yeah, and that's one of the reasons that the big mini, the monster mini from that build is painted the way it is because I wanted it to match the flowers that I put out. So that those so that it's part of that setting. That's what the flowers look like. So that's what that creature would look like. It's part of that.
Yeah, the thing I like is it gives more color. Again, color is something like I mostly build one thing at a time, so it's like most of this thing is gray, most of this thing is brown or whatever. But then when you start at the details like that, I think it gives a lot of character.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were cloves.
Okay, let's second. Okay, Tina is giving some wisdom about removing bubbles from spray foam. That's really good. Thanks, Tina.
Ooh, is it
Okay,
removing what from this?
second, sorry.
What did Tina say about the spray foam?
Let's see. Let me find it. You can press and rub the spray foam so it leaves less bubbles.
Mm, okay.
I sprayed a
Interesting.
I sprayed a part of the rocks on Hogwarts, and I think like 3 minutes later or something, I started rubbing it with gloves on.
Oh,
Oh, okay, we should definitely have
that
to try that.
thank you.
Thanks, Tina. And
Thank you.
and campaign terrain, the tin EVA is called by the brand name Foamies, as well as generically Craft Foam. That was the tin foam you were talking about earlier.
Thank you, Cross.
Okay, I mean, the accumulated crafting information in
Yeah,
this group is just amazing.
it is.
Okay, now I see a boat with tentacles. Tentacles.
Yeah. Tentacles. I did not make the boat. It's it's an incense burner, I believe. Um,
Seriously?
yeah, but I didn't find someone else found that and I bought one. It's I got it on Amazon. Yeah, it's a basically a Viking boat, but it's an incense burner. It's really cool. Um, but yeah, this was for the TCU challenge
That's the
that
Crafters Union, I think. Or, is that correct?
United
United, United.
Tabletop Crafters United. So they had a challenge, and I was able to get it in just under the wire because I had some of the stuff. Because as you can see, the clips where I was making those for the dangerous terrain, the tentacles I had from the Iwala, the Halloween
Uh-huh.
one, the braziers I had. So I just used a different. I just put it all together,
Nice.
and that's just the lighting.
I really like the way the lighting works here is from a distance the bases on the tentacles look like a kind of reflection or a ripple, so it works really well there.
Yeah, I like that.
And
Almost
serious
like mist.
and seriously, I would never have guessed that that boat is not a sorry, that boat is an incense burner. It looks, I mean,
Yeah,
it's about the right size and everything. So
it's amazing. I saw that on some place, and I was like, oh, I have to get one of those.
Okay, so
If
yeah, we've been
if you
all over
see
the place, and we just make sure we're not missing anything. Yeah.
if you see the dragon, oh yeah, the dragon's on top. I have another picture of it, but
Okay,
I
we'll
I
find it.
just took a picture. Oh, okay.
So,
I put this in there because I sort of I wanted like so many mini pictures. And I was like, no, I can't do that. There's just too many. So this is sort of my storage system for my minis, for my monster minis that I paint.
uh-huh.
Um, so these are from, oh gosh, Harbor Freight.
Okay.
They had little boxes that you can put things in, and they stack, and you can actually mount them as well. So
Yeah, I can see they're clipped together on the sides, if I see correctly.
yeah.
Do you have any, do you know what they're called? What this kind of box is called? Because I think I could use a few of these. Probably be looking
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
there's storage boxes. I can send you a link. I did post it in the Tabletop Crafters Guild a little while ago, a couple of months ago.
Oh, I must have missed it.
Um,
But yeah, I could see a use for this, definitely.
yeah, these are cool. They're very cool. I like them a lot.
What is that thing in there?
Which one?
It looks like three piles of goop or something. That are bloop, bloop. It's in the box just over the angels.
Over the Angels. Oh, that was the an ochre jelly.
All
I
right.
made that for, yeah, that basically hot glue, but it was an ochre jelly I made.
All right. I like the movement in it.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to, so it could go in different directions, could go after two of them at once.
Okay, and I'm seeing something bright green here.
Um, that's the
Top right hand side. I think it's
ah yeah.
just above the Eldritch horror or something, next to a fish.
Yep, that is a a specter that for this that same campaign I decided to, because I do want to, a lot of the times the monsters don't look the way I want them
Hmm.
to. I want them to be a little bit more imposing. So I had a flashlight that had like it had an LED with a couple of batteries in it. So it was a pen kind of flashlight, but and it was plastic. So I took it apart and I just painted the mini with some glow paint around the base, and I put the whole um, assembly into the pen. And so when I press down on it and makes contact, the whole thing lights up a little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
So it's glowing. So because I was still learning how to paint translucent, so I wanted it to glow in the dark. And I did the same thing with the the flaming skull. There's a flaming skull in there somewhere in the
uh,
one of the pictures of Wave Echo Cave. There's a flaming skull in there, and I did the same thing. I stuck it on top of the light so it would glow, and I also used some more of those glowing rocks on that too.
okay, nice.
Yeah, I like them.
So let's see. What do you want to talk about the dragon? Let's find the dragon because
Yeah,
I'm
hopefully I
curious now because
didn't.
that looks really good in the.
I think the scroll. I think you see the just. I think the the very go up a little bit when you're scrolling,
Okay.
a little bit more. I think because I think I see the tip of it, the tip of its wings.
Oh, here, green dragon.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Din din din.
Yay. It's like that one and the Night Hag were the two models that I painted that I realized I really do like this, and when I do something, it can look good.
So what was the thing that kind of clicked for you? It's like we're like I'm not sure I like this, but I have to get them painted, or it's like oh I'm not good at this. Oh wait, yes I am. How did that go for you?
Yeah, it was one of those things where, yeah, I was painting them because I just didn't want, I did not like the gray on the board, the gray or the white. I wanted some color on it. Actually, because the other person bought some pre-painted ones, everything else didn't look right. So now I had to paint everything. Um, and then I painted this for that same campaign, The Lost Man at Fandelver, the Green Dragon, Venom Fang. And so I was painting it, and actually it's not a Green Dragon mini. It's metallic. I think it might be. I don't know if it's silver, but it's a metallic dragon. But so I painted it, and just looking at the way that the blend actually came out nicely, and thinking about the different textures that I wanted the top of it to be a little bit darker because that's where the sun would hit and it would be more leathered there. So just I started actually thinking about what it should look like. And I started realizing that I enjoyed that. So those are the ones that really the Night Hag, because she came out exactly the way I wanted her to. I wanted her to look like the book, and she really did come out looking like the book. And this one, because I really was looking at what should it look like, and it came out the way I really sort of wanted it to. And that's where I really wanted to. I decided I really did like the painting the minis, and then when I started doing the terrain, all hope was lost when I started doing the terrain.
Yep, you're in it too deep now.
I was in it too deep. I had to abandon hope. I had entered.
Sorry.
No, no problem.
So let's see. Okay, Scatter Terrain is saying, is reminding you that you also won the TCU challenge.
Oh, yes, yes, I did. Thank you very much, Meredith. I did win that one. I was very excited. And the thing about Discord is there's so much on Discord. It's so hard to keep up with
Totally, yeah.
that I flip in and out, and then I feel so bad that I'm not keeping up with the different groups, because it's like I won the challenge and I want to keep up with it, but then I get pulled away and there's just so much going on. So if anyone is on any of those other Discords, I they're wonderful Discords. I just haven't been involved in them as much as I wanted to. That one, Meredith had I think Meredith had put that one up in or mentioned it, and I did enter that one, and I was very excited. I was totally caught off guard by winning. That one there was a poem that I did for that one as well, because you had a little bit of a backstory to it. So I did a poem for that build as well, and I did end up winning that one. So I was very excited. Yay! Thank you, Meredith.
Okay, we have another crafting tip from Earthman Brick. Never pick
Ooh,
your nose after you scratch your bum. Yep, that's a very
thank
good
you.
crafting tip.
I'm gonna write that one down. I do that all the time.
Okay, and Lisa is asking, are the storage bins cat proof?
Scat proof,
Cat. Are the storage
cat
bins
proof,
cat proof?
as in poo proof.
No, cat, as in meow and stuff like that.
Oh, sorry. I don't have a cat anymore. I did have a dog a few years ago, and I did have a cat up till about 2 years ago. So both of them have passed. I haven't gotten any new pets. So for right now, I don't have any pets that are attacking anything.
For now. But
In the future, I'll have to cat proof them or dog proof. I am more of a dog person. Cats
okay,
are easier, but I am a dog person.
okay. The common consensus in the chat seems to be that nothing is cat proof.
Yes, yes, Steve. I thought scat. I was thinking scat proof.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't think I've ever seen this one before.
Oh yeah, yeah. This was from a second campaign. Again, that Arctic campaign.
Uh-huh.
So this is, if you're familiar with Wildmount, this is from Aor. The
Not familiar,
the
sorry.
no problem. It's a critical role. The that world
Okay.
that and Aor is this ancient fallen city. It was a flying city, and it crashed, and it's been buried for like thousands of years. And they fall into the earth in that Arctic region, and they find this house where there is a sort of a temporal bubble where inside the bubble time is frozen. So they're coming into this location, and that again is more uh, EP, uh, EPS.
The
I keep
expanded, yeah,
forgetting.
the expanded stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the expanded. Yep. So that was another one that I just sort of chipped away at, and they entered this house that way, and then there's a little area in the back that they actually had to get out. The only way they actually ended up getting out was through this tunnel in the back, and the unicorn is there because magic doesn't work properly in that area
Okay.
because there it was so magic intense, and my the wizard cast a spell, so I rolled on the wild magic table, and what came up was a unicorn appears. So so they had a unicorn there for a little bit, for about a
Could
minute.
have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse, absolutely.
How do you do the color on the dome? Because I like the rippling effect.
Oh, the dome. That actually is a candy container for I think it was the Rocher uh, chocolate candies. So it's two sides of a ball. So it's basically a yellow ball, plastic ball,
All right.
and I didn't throw it out. I just painted it up blue for the coloring, and then stuck uh, some Cyclopex lights inside, the LED strings inside
Okay.
to pulse.
So what we're seeing there are the are brush strokes, and then the lighter colors are the light from inside. All right.
It's mostly a wash because the actual
Ah, okay.
plastic was textured. Yeah, it was textured. So I just had to paint it um blue with a thin layers of blue to maintain the
I
translucence,
got you. All
and
right.
then wash it. Yeah.
The trail came out looking good.
Thank you.
And also, what Cross is saying is that when the bits of foam come off, the chunks of foam come off, it leaves this kind of structure which looks like concrete or crystal or what have you.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. That's why I ripped off a little bit, so because it was a crash city, so
mm,
these homes were destroyed. So
yeah,
that's why
it's a good choice of material for something like this.
I liked it.
Yeah. Okay, and I think this is the bridge ambush. Yeah,
Yeah, that was the bridge ambush, which is more packing material.
it works.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
interesting thing about sorry,
No, no, please go on, please.
no, no, I was saying, yeah, the thing that I think stands out the most was the tree and the upside down tree underneath the bridge that you're showing, because for some reason when I thought of the bridge, I'm thinking, okay, what would be different? What would stand out? And I thought that the having the tree underneath that was just happened to grow there for whatever reason, be part of the ambush, and that's why there's magnets holding the tree upside down,
Okay.
because I wanted to be able to use the tree and other things, so I put magnets on the end.
Yeah, I remember when I saw this way back, that was one of the like, what? Oh, yeah. So it's got a lot of interesting features.
Yeah, I like this one.
Zoom too far.
And all of it comes apart. I mean, there's probably one, two, three, four. There's probably like eight different, aside from the trees, probably like eight different pieces that can come apart and be used in other ways. That's the other thing I really try to make things reusable, make them as
Yeah,
reusable as possible.
that makes a lot of sense. Both because you only got you got so much storage space, and also because you've only got so much time. So it's always more fun to work on something you haven't worked on before, so we can just go for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that really stood out with this was the that background, the because that,
Ah,
It's got this whole thing about like one of those old kung fu movies right now, just when you see this picture for the
yeah,
first time.
yeah, yep. That was made by a friend of mine as my DM screen. So it actually folds out. There's hinges on the sides.
All right.
So there's a layer behind. There's two more dragons on the other side. Um, so it it's a beautiful piece, and that's why I used it in a lot of my early videos to just as a nice backdrop. It was gorgeous, and I wanted to say thank you, Casey. Thank you, Beverly. If you watch this, thank you very, very much.
And also good work because it does look fantastic.
It's wonderful. She does so many crafts. She's actually a mushroom farmer, but
All right.
does so many crafts. Yeah, leather. She goes into so many different things.
Okay, let's see. Okay, Lisa's saying Kim is an amazing crafter. Meredith is
Oh,
saying that's such a great bridge. Cross is
thank you
saying
very much.
I often feel EPS can look fine in builds, especially for dioramas. However, I find it too flimsy and brittle for most gameplay.
Hmm. Can be.
It can be, but I mean, like once you put a couple of layers of varnish on top of it, you can literally throw it at walls and it will be fine.
Yeah. The interesting thing is and it might be because I had been crafting longer when I built the AOR piece versus the LMOP piece. The AOR piece isn't squishy when you feel it. I don't know if I learned about layering and making sure that it was more firm, but at least that one doesn't come apart. The other one, the first one does. It's much more flimsy.
Yeah, and I mean, you do get different densities of foam anyway, so that's also something that there's some foam you can't fix.
Mhm.
Other foam, you put enough varnish on it and it will be okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh yeah, this is the flaming skull that you had mentioned.
Ah, yeah.
Spooky.
Yeah, so those the rocks around it, those
Hmm?
translucent green rocks, those are the ones that I'm talking about. So and this I made this because again, the flaming skull minis that I saw were like tiny. They were like skulls, I mean, which is
Literally a miniature
understandable.
skull side. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, which is understandable because that's what it's supposed to be, but it wasn't imposing. So I got a bead, a skull bead, and painted that up with glow paint and hot glue, and then put the stones around it to maintain that glow for a little bit. And then I did the same thing that I did with the Spectre, where there was a housing of a pen flashlight, and put all of that in a inside. Put the housing of the flashlight, I'm sorry, the assembly of the flashlight into a plastic housing so it would stand up.
Okay.
And when I push it down, it'll light.
And I think are these on the side, are those more of the glowing stones you mentioned?
Yes, yeah. So inside is another. Um, Actually, that light is actually a purchased piece from a bellows mini that comes with a light. So that's what's lighting that one because of the
Okay.
shape.
Ah, so
But
it already has a built-in light and stuff. All right.
yeah, the light itself is purchased, but the I made the actual forge, and I put the stones on top to make to make them like green coals, like magical coals instead of regular coals.
Let's see. We haven't seen this one.
It's my dice jail.
I never really understood the use for this.
I don't I've never used it, but I just thought it was really cool. I like the concept of a dice jail. I really do. Where if your luck is bad, you got to blame something. So blame the dice, put it in jail, and then you can move on. I do like that concept.
Yeah, still, I mean, it also makes a really good cage for the tabletop anyway.
The only thing is that the I made it so that it's actually basically, a milk carton, the screw
Uh-huh.
cap on a milk carton. So I put the screw part on I think it's just foam on, no, it's just balsa wood. I put that on top, cut the hole, put that on top, and then I can screw the the cap on top. So I can't put, it's too small for a mini, but a regular 20-sided die can fit in there. But definitely I could make it larger for a mini, or make it removable magnetic or something like that to open it up.
Okay, I didn't realize this was glued on and and there's a screw cap on top.
It's a screw cap. Yep, you can open it
Alright.
up, put the die.
Okay, so this is the chieftain.
That was Chieftain.
This is one of the characters from your story, yeah?
Yep, that's one of the crew. That's Huragor, um, who is basically he's um in between a fighter and a druid. I was trying to decide what to make him. So he's sort of like a druid, but he's also a fighter. And this was his last um, his last what's what I'm looking for, where you are his last task given to him by his father, who had gone crazy because of the entity, the pies of the entity,
Okay.
and he was trying to kill his son, and this was a task he wasn't supposed to come back from. And the thing about this is, I was really learning I was trying to figure out how to make that running water, make the river actually look like water. And that I think it was Michael in that one videos, he had um, showcased someone, I can't remember the name, I'm sorry, Michael, but who'd used uh, a kind of a construction adhesive instead of just like instead of silicone. And so I used that idea, and I think that worked really, really well. And then I painted that up in grays, and then I also had the strips of the water, similar to what I used for the man's best friend build. So I had that as the bottom layer, and then on top I had the different strips of the construction adhesive, or construction epoxy or something like that. And so it could sort of cover them and uncover them, like they were fighting as they were going
Mhm.
down the river.
I think the person who you're talking about is Luke from Geek Gaming Scenics because he does a lot of stuff with that construction adhesive.
Okay. Geek Gaming Scenics, great.
If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. But speaking of this, you like to do these layer things, yeah? Because I remember in your which one was it? You had the one where they were in a snow covered thing or an ice covered thing. Had these the sheets to hide miniatures that were snowed under or in the fog or
Oh,
whatever.
yep, the Vault of Mists. Yeah. Yeah, where they were going to get a hammer, or they were told to get this hammer, or one of the crew who has an ulterior motive sent them to this vault. Um, and yeah, it was about a hammer. She has a thing for hammers, and 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 they encountered two creatures who ended up becoming two other members of the crew, because they had their own story. Um, but yeah, so the mists were one. I really am into that. I have noticed I am into that, as you were saying. I do like things being covered or uncovered, and that's something that's actually coming up in my dangerous terrain thing, because again, as when you're playing, you can explain that, or just remove someone from the table, or put a marker up there or something like that. But
Mhm.
in the stop motion, how do I get how do I show that this person is sinking into the clouds, that the pedestals, or those glowing stones, are the only place that they can actually step. If they step off of those, they're going to fall into the mist and get covered and taken away by them. So that's what the dryer sheets were for, using that as the mist containing the person and sucking them down.
Okay. Yeah, but apart from I can understand it's the only way to show it in the stop motion, but it's also such a great way to do it on the tabletop. Like this is what you can see, this
Yeah.
is what you cannot see. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Hi Garrett. The DMG info is in the house and has a question for you. Are you doing any more stop
Oh,
motion animation?
I will be doing one for the desert terrain, the upcoming challenge that Carl and Michael and David, because it's a David on your wonderful your wonderful splash page. I am doing stop motion for that. That should be out hopefully next week or week after.
Okay, we shall be
If I can,
looking forward to that.
thank you. Yeah, if I can finish, because as I said, I changed my mind about something, so I have to rebuild something.
Finish is such a loaded word.
Yeah, I just have to stop.
Yeah, well, pretty much. But yeah, especially when you're enjoying building something, it becomes.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I could do just this little bit more and so on.
just a little bit better, a little bit better. Uh,
Okay, and floating terrain piece.
that was the floating terrain piece where it is basically a prison for the wife of one of the characters who actually, when you see it, you notice that she actually is part of the crew as well. But uh, they come to this desert area where because the entity tricked one of them into saying an incantation so that they could both live they could live together because she was a mermaid, he was human, and but instead of letting them both live together on land or together on sea, she um, gave him the power to breathe underwater, but he could never leave the ship, and snatched her away and put her in this prison guarded by a sea serpent. And then she's in the bowl at the very top.
Okay,
So they had to come to this place to free her.
okay. The water effect here is really good. The swirling thing at the bottom.
Yeah, that same
Uh,
adhesive construct epoxy material or adhesive material
is it an acrylic
on.
coke or something like that? Transparent acrylic coke or something like that?
I got it somewhere.
Because I know, and Cross mentioned that both Joe Levine and Luke from Gig Gaming Scenics use it out.
Okay.
Hey, Dungeon Minister, good to see you.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this was, and that dragon was part of another build, and especially because of the tail, that was a Batman cape from a mini. I love
seriously?
that. Yeah, that's the 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 creature comes by itself as a mini, but there was no tail. So I wanted to make a fin, so I pulled the cape off of one of those figures that you get in the dollar store. It was a Batman figure, and I painted that up and mounted it on a disc to be the tail.
Excuse me, because I think uh, I just happened to have it here. Yeah.
Ah,
Not the tail, I mean just
oh,
the mini.
yeah. Oh, yes, yes. Those tentacles. Yeah, and it comes with the tentacles, right?
Yep.
Yep. So that, yeah, so I did,
From the
so
same
I painted up, and that's,
same kit that
sorry,
I
go on.
used for same kit I used for the tentacles for the Christmas song. Yep.
I recognized them. Yep, I recognized them. I was like, I got those. Yeah,
Ah, I see you know
and
your
they're really,
tentacles.
yeah, yeah, they're very cool. I recognize those tentacles anywhere. The but yeah, so yeah, and that's the build for the monster itself. The painting was the only one that I sang in, which again, it was one of those kinds of things where I was testing out my equipment. Um, so I'm not a singer. I can carry a tune most of the time, but I am not a singer. But I was having fun.
And that's the most important thing. Okay, let's see. Dungeon Minister, are those cardboard packaging inserts? That's a great use for them.
Yep, they definitely are. I've been as as you'll see in the others, whatever I find, I'm using. And I did want to use them because it was a desert scene, and that's one of the reasons I came up with that part of the story, because I had these packaging inserts and it looked like desert terrain. So I put her in a desert. She's a mermaid. That would be bad thing. So, but now I had to have water. So, how am I going to make the water? Okay, so it's a magical prison made of water in the desert. So she can't get out. So it just sort of it comes between what the challenge is, what I have, and what I can think of as to why it works together, and that's where the story comes from.
That's really neat. I mean, it's fun also how different people have these different ways of getting inspiration, but it all works.
Yep, yeah.
Okay, this is also from your
So,
Halloween build, if I'm not mistaken.
it was well, it ended up in the Halloween build. I actually built these before. I did those separately
Hmm.
as I wanted to make a fountain. So I made a whole bunch of different fountain pods, basically starting out with the jar lids, plastic jar lids,
Hmm.
and then wrapping them with cork, and then filling them up with, partially filling them up with uh, hot glue and different sizes, so you can make it modular as well.
Yeah,
And then I used,
okay, wrapping with cork isn't something I ever thought about. It's interesting.
and yeah, and the other one you can see that was the first time I used one of the Weeping Angel uh, minis in the next one that has and that was one a stop motion as well, and it comes to life and eats the horse, poor thing.
Aw.
But the recluse gets away, and that's when I use the recluse, that's part of the thing. Whatever happens, he gets away because he's got plot armor. He has to survive. He has to come back.
He has a contract to fulfill.
He's got a contract.
Ah, I think this is the recluse hat that you mentioned earlier. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see. Because yeah, that was, I think that might have been my first stop motion, because it
Okay.
was just like him walking into it. That was the first one I did, just to show that it can be used.
I like the design for it. It's interesting. Is that based on any kind of architecture, or is it something you came up with?
Well, yeah, it's somewhat, I came up with it because I just thought of just baskets, because I think I was just looking at a basket, and I looked
All
at it
right,
and like I
that works.
realized that there were houses that look like that with the basket on top. There are houses that have that kind of woven thatching on top. So I took some twine and started weaving it around the some skewers, but they didn't stay together. So then I had at the very top, I took the top of a reusable Keurig cup that I had, well, I had used over and over, so it was just time to get rid of it. So I just drilled some holes in that, stuck the skewers through, so it had some stability, and then wound it up. And this is the one that had it was the bottom of a tape, a packing tape dispenser, the cardboard roll.
Okay.
And I think this was the first time I used individual bricks. And nothing like what you just did. I mean, that was amazing. The brickwork that you went through in your last build, that's amazing. Um,
Yeah, I
this,
mean, the
yeah, this,
brickwork on that scale is just it's easy to do, but you have to distract yourself. If you know you're
oh my
doing
God.
it, it's going to be miserable.
That was amazing. But I think this was the first time I used some bricks, and it just made it like a little stucco house.
That looks good. So, the Dungeon Minister, I love how the materials inform the crafting, and the crafting informs the story. And then the story demands new crafting, which demands new materials, etc., etc.
Uruboros.
Yeah, it's a circle of craft.
Yep. The circle of craft.
Yeah, I didn't sing it specifically to spare all of you my singing.
I
I think you had enough
I
for
couldn't
here.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to do it. I had to do
No, I mean you're okay. It's just it's my singing that's a problem.
it.
Okay, and with some to finish off with some urns.
Yeah, those are basically, for oil bottles, like olive oil bottles, the plugs.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So those were from olive oil bottles, and then the tops were, I think, from pens or markers or something like that, inverted. And those were the urns that the skulls from the Illithid build. Once the sacrifices were eaten, the skulls would go into the urns.
Because they may be monsters, but they're tidy monsters.
They're tiny monsters, absolutely. They can't have just. It's like stepping on a Lego. You can't leave those things lying around. It's absolutely.
Okay. Oh yeah, wait. Tentacles.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, we couldn't wrap this up without some tentacles.
Yeah. And I did go the extra and paint a little bit of uh, UV paint, a little bit of glowing paint, so when it was hit by the UV light, it would go just a little bit more.
Yeah, that whole build was something, especially when you did both the nighttime and the daytime thing.
Yeah, I was trying to. I did want to have that contrast.
Okay, so I think we've been through all the pictures. What do you say we look at the community showcase and see what's in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Okay, this is from Lawrence from Dirty Basement Terrain. Okay,
And I did love his video too.
oh yeah, I think he meant to give it to his partner on Valentine's Day, but I think didn't decide not to wait that long.
When I saw it at first, I thought the colorful flowers reminded me of the sweethearts, those little
Oh
candies.
yeah, okay, I know the ones. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I thought it sort of seemed like a cute touch. I don't know if that was his intention. I don't think you mentioned that, but that's what it reminded me of.
yeah, it has that kind of pastel color kind of thing, but
Yeah,
it's like we were saying earlier. It adds that splash of color to the scene. Otherwise, would be rather it's grays and greens and browns. It's not very lively. But when you add those colors,
yeah,
it kind of yeah, it looks really nice.
absolutely. I love the stone too, the
The
pavers
pavers, yeah.
that he drew in. Yeah,
Okay, he's also managed to get moss and air texture going between them. Nice.
Temple of Love.
Yeah, if you all don't follow Lawrence already, you should, and can find him on Dirty Basement Terrain.
Hmm.
Okay, this one's from Earthman Brick.
Yeah, I loved seeing this one come together.
Oh yeah, I mean, it took him how long? I think he did it over the course of an evening, yeah?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's, I'm not sure what the brand was. Foreground, yeah. Foreground MDF kit, but
MDF.
yeah, he did all this grime and the vegetation and stuff on that. So yeah, they took it quite a bit beyond what the what came in the kit.
I remember him saying that he sort of didn't want to dirty up
The picture, yeah,
the
yeah.
billboard itself because it was beautiful. There were such beautiful colors on it, but I think he hit it exactly, getting the grime, but the color coming through.
Oh yeah,
I think he really hit it well.
and the tears in the picture really set it off.
Yep. Burns. It looks like burns actually, almost.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going
The
to
the
this whole
moss
thing,
and
yeah, old, rusty, rotting and stuff like this.
uh
The man knows his grime. Let's put it that way.
He does. He knows his grime. Yeah. Yeah. The
Okay, those are
kudzu.
looking good. Uh, he's saying this is his first post-apocalyptic build that didn't have Rusty.
But those. But yeah, it looks almost plague ridden. The moss and the
Uh-huh.
kudzu hanging off it, dripping off of it.
It's
There's still grime though.
like it's been around for a few decades or stuff, yeah?
Yeah. And I think he said it was toilet paper, I think,
Yeah,
right?
toilet paper and PVA, if I remember correctly. Okay, this is from Kalos from PropFox. This is what happens if you leave someone unattended with a large bag of googlies.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to like look and like I'm trying to read it too. I'm trying to look and read.
Let's see. The first one says I'm sponsoring pudding and I'm sponsoring hope.
Oh,
It's for a dog's charity.
oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but they look amazing with googlies.
Oh my God. Oh, I see the eyes now. Yep. Yeah. Now I wonder if it's just for the refrigerator or is that something that actually goes out as a poster to attract people
I'm
to
pretty sure it's both. I mean, they do have. Let's see. This is guidedogs.org.uk. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have calendars and other merchandise too.
cool. Very cool.
Okay. Oh, okay. These are the
Yeah.
animal furs that Meredith is working on.
Yes,
That's some nice
the
texture in there.
skin. Yeah. The all of these, the even the one that doesn't have like the actual stripes and the texture of it is amazing.
Oh yeah.
And the color and the color too.
Okay. Is this also just paper and I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Was it? Oh, no, no, no. This I think she said was it fleece, I think. Meredith, was it
Ah, yeah.
fleece?
Okay, yeah.
I think she said. And that's where the texture comes from, but also the colors are so natural
Oh yeah.
on them. It is I mean, they're not natural, but they're natural. It's
It's not something you would
interesting.
find in nature, but they look naturally, huh?
Yeah, yeah. If you found it in nature, it would look like that. Yes. Yeah, and I know that because of the size, someone had mentioned the animal must be huge, and she
Yes.
said it was one of yeah, some kind of hunt of those types of
So
animals
it's huge and glittery. Oh no.
and glitter. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love this one. I love the purple. As you can see, that's my thing. I do love purple.
It's like a
Yeah,
purple
it's
zebra
gorgeous.
kind of thing, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, even the center looks as if it might be the back of the animal or something
Uh,
like that, or the belly of the animal.
because
So it looks as if it's
it's not a consistent color, which is exactly what you'd have
yeah,
on a skin.
right, absolutely.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, yes,
a lot of work has gone into this one.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And she drew those on, I think, right? Yeah,
Yeah, they would have to be.
yeah. Because just the intricacy of drawing each one of those, and again, making it realistic.
Okay. Tiger stripes. All right.
The tiger one, yeah, tiger. Yeah, because they think just thinking of like thinking of it as a rug or something like that. Seeing the shading on it too.
And all this can be yours for the low, low price of.
Of your life if you want to hunt one of these.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, those things must be huge.
Yep,
Whatever that came
absolutely.
out of, Must be pretty large.
Slayer. Yeah, Slayer.
But yeah, Mary did a great job. No,
Yes,
in the slide, the purple one looks even better.
yeah, I love it.
Okay,
Ooh.
Steve, Steve's paintbrush.
Oh my gosh,
Okay, so
Steven.
get ready for the
I know.
painting envy, everyone.
Is so I mean he never fails. It,
Excuse me. Okay, so
yeah, how could he? I mean, it's just
so Scatter Terrain said it's probably a fairy purple worm, and yeah, Dungeon Matron said let's not judge the purple worm's life choices.
ah. Beautiful.
Okay, but
Yeah,
this
I
is,
love this. I love this one. This angle.
I love all three eyes seem to be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pretty awesome touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then the staples.
oh, check out the
His,
textures on his belt and stuff.
yeah. And the what is it? So there's horns on the belt as well, right?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah,
Wow. So like the enemy, uh, he's got the horns of his enemy. He's got his horns and the horns of his enemy
yeah. I mean, I
as
know.
well, and the skulls, the horns, yeah, of everything.
Yeah, I think you have to have at least five skulls of your enemies. It's a union thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or you have to pay extra dues. It's part of the apprenticeship. You have to you go from journeyman to tradesman.
Yep.
Each skull you get another one.
That's again another thing about the attention to detail. Can you see the color of the flesh around the wounds and everything? That's some serious attention to detail.
Yeah, this like paler
Yeah.
around to show that the loss of blood in those areas. Mhm.
Steve's work is always mind blowing.
Gorgeous. And I mean, he picks such wonderful subjects too.
Yeah,
So much interest in the subjects.
definitely. I mean, his the range of busts he painted is awesome. And again, uh, he's working on a diorama at the moment. It's not quite finished yet, I think, so he didn't send it here. But I am looking forward to see that finished because that's looking amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, Mia posted some old stuff. Let's see.
Oh,
Oh, that's some good looking old stuff.
these are these 3D printed sculpt forms?
They look at least one on the left looks sculpted, but the details on them are really fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the ones at the top and the way the those tentacles are uh,
Mm,
what do you call it, intertwined.
yes.
That's some really fine
Like
work.
one of this is yeah, I mean the small one there and the one on the right.
Uh huh.
Oh my gosh, actually I'm looking at the one on the top left. That's beautiful, just the way they're intertwined.
Yeah, the one with the blue gem or the one
Yeah.
with the green gem. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The blue, yeah.
The blue. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
There
Oh my
there's
gosh.
some super fine detail. Yeah, these are incredible.
Yeah. So these are not so because I was thinking 3D. No, these are sculpts.
That's what they look like. Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
mean the furthest one on the left, the one with the it looks like some kind of scarab on it or a beetle.
Yes. Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, you can see that that's been hand sculpted.
Got
It's
it.
just the way the material is. You wouldn't print it like that.
No, no. I see what you're saying.
Oh, this is awesome. Oh, close-ups.
Oh yeah. That.
Oh,
Yep. Yep. It reminds me of the brain that I did for the Elithid build because I rolled up ropes of clay to turn it to make the crenulations in the brain. So I now I can see it. I can see what she was doing with that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of the with the red gems. It's kind of reminding me of the flying spaghetti monster.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yep.
But whoa,
Yep.
yeah,
Hmm.
those tentacles, those are something else.
Yeah. Yeah, those are beautiful. And I want to see these painted. That's going to be gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Ooh, ship.
Oh, yep. Wow. Wow.
Mia, is this the same one you were working on? I want to say a couple of months back, might have been a few weeks back, but yeah, this is looking lovely.
Is this foam core? I don't think I saw the beginning parts. Is this foam core?
I'm not sure.
I see Mia's in there. She said Sculpey for the clay. I was just wondering if this is foam core for the decks.
It might be. I mean, it's thin enough. I think there might be some card pieces in there as well.
Mhm.
Oh, cocktail stick ballista. Yay!
Mm. Ooh. Oh, that's so cool. I'm sorry, I'm looking over because I have a bigger screen on this
No,
side.
no, no.
Um,
You're good. Don't worry.
yeah, but that is really cool. I love that. I love the ballista and the catapult. Those are amazing. Oh my God.
This is nice. I mean, are the masts magnetized? They
Oh,
must be.
me, yeah, Mia said cardboard for the decks.
Yeah, okay.
That's great.
Based on Scotty 2.5 details. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it looks. I do love the the angles.
Hmm.
The angles and the symmetry are really nice. Because I know I can't. Well, I haven't done that. I try and I just end up just sort of feeling it out, but it looks so good when you actually take the time and do it individually and measure it out and make sure it's correct. It looks so good.
Okay. Okay. So this was in the other
Oh,
ship. It's a different ship.
and the
Oh,
crow's nests.
yeah.
I love those. Those are cool. Can a mini fit in those crow's nests? I think so. It looks like
Yeah,
it.
it looks like it.
I see DM Scotty's in too.
Hey, DM Scotty. Good to see you, sir. And Martin. Hi, hi, Martin.
Oh, Martin. Hi, Martin.
Almost didn't see you there.
Yeah, those are yeah. I love the crow's nests, and again, it does look like you can actually put a
Oh yeah,
mini in
yeah.
there and play it.
In the next one, there
That's
are some
wonderful.
miniatures in them.
Oh, there's a picture with the mini. Oh, now it is. I see the bottom. Yeah.
Ah, and you can have even the rigging supports. Not rigging. What do you call it? The yard arms, the sails, the
Yeah.
folded sails. Let's call them the folded sails.
Wow. Yeah, those are cool. Yeah, those are that's wonderful playable space.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many options there.
Yeah, so many levels.
Love it.
And a couple of ropes to swing from one to the other.
This is good. This is good. Really good.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I like that. See, now I have to build another ship, Mia. Thanks. Now I got to be better. I got to be better than I did before. I have to improve. Thanks, Mia. Thank you, Mia.
Oh,
It's
come
really
on. Are those Monopoly houses?
I think so, right? A hotel? Looks like a hotel. Yeah, the house is in a hotel.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
Oh, cool.
And wait. Mia, did you also make tiny wells? Looks like it.
Is it? Wow. I love the paint. I love the paint. I love the paint job. This
Yeah.
is really cool. Never thought of that. That's really cool. Oh, and I can see the roofing, the extra roofing put on to
Yes.
connect them. That's really cool.
This is crazy. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, that is really cool. That's imaginative. I like that a lot.
Awesome. Oh, okay.
It's a 2 millimeter terrain. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be something around the scale.
My gosh.
Okay, and this is the what did you make those tiny wells out of? I mean, they're is there even a word for something that tiny? Microscopic?
My
But yeah, anyway, this
like you
again, this is something that Martin was working on in the Hangouts.
Yeah, yeah. I see he did decide on the forward tusks, which
Uh-huh.
I do think that's really cool.
I really like the movement on this one. And all the measures he does are real dynamic, but this one in particular has this kind of.
Yeah. I see he's fleshed out the legs. It
Mhm,
looks almost like it's jumping.
mhm.
Because before because I could see the attachment before because it was just the wire, but now that he's got fleshed out the legs, it looks like it's actually moving
Oh yeah,
off of its base, like it's actually jumping up. I like that.
one of the things about this is that Martin's really good at choosing the pieces of wood he works with
Mhm.
because that already has that kind of bulk. So just positioning the legs that way, he's got this whole motion going. And he was already very good at that, and he's improved a lot over the last few models. He's really making them do stuff.
Yeah, the flow and the movement in them is really it's striking because it because most of the time you think of a mini or a model, you think it's a static. Even if there's motion shown, it seems static. But I think the combination of the angles that he uses, the
Hmm.
materials that he uses, the organic materials he's using, and everything just makes the flow more pronounced. That
Yeah, yeah, for
movement
sure.
more pronounced. It's more
And
realistic.
I think he was mentioning it last time when we were talking about it. It's like in when you're drawing a comic book.
Mhm.
If you're doing a comic book illustration, you can't just do someone doing a normal punch. You have to exaggerate the action, so you've got that thing.
Mm,
But to add on top of that, he's also catching the angles really well with his camera work. So there's also that.
that's true. That's true.
Great work, Martin. Okay. Oh, Stefano from Kimura Gaming.
Oh.
Oh, Chaos Warriors. Dum 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 dum.
They blow that up a little bit.
That's
It's
that
so
looks like
much,
some
so much going
nice freehand on that banner.
on. And there's just so much going on in there. There's so much happening.
Uh-huh. Well, they wouldn't be Chaos Warriors otherwise, no? If they were orderly.
If there was no chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Need some chaos. Oh, I love the one. I love the one with the skulls on his horns. That's so cool.
Uh-huh. The other one looks like it's kind of a demon face or something.
The armor
Hmm.
and the color. I mean, I love the colors that he's chosen for this. The orange, at least for this one I'm looking at right now. I'm looking back with everybody else now because I'm looking at the stream. I was
Okay.
looking at the orange and the colors on the armor.
Excuse me. I'm really liking the effect on the fabric on the banner.
The fabric is amazing. Even the frayed, sort of almost burned edges.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And the stains and stuff. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm looking back at the first one, and there's a drummer on the right,
Okay.
and he even added stains and dirt on the skin of the drum.
Oh my gosh. That's a deep that's
That's
amazing
attention to
detail.
detail, yeah.
Yeah, that's attention. Yeah, that is
Okay,
cool.
and remember, these aren't busts, these are 28 millimeter scale figures.
Yeah, yeah, and as I said, there's so many. It's like that's so much work to get all of them, and they're cohesive. They're not the same, but they're cohesive.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the weird things. I also always had a problem with Games Workshop Chaos Knights.
Mhm.
They're always painted the same color. It's like they're in uniform.
Mm.
It's like, dudes, my dudes, you're Chaos Knights. Why are you the only species in this universe that has a uniform?
Chaos.
Yeah, but here he pulled off a really good job of making them different without, the whole thing clashing.
Right. I agree.
Ooh,
And that's the thing. I don't know much about the war gaming. I know of it, but I've never played any of those. I'm interested, but I've never played any of
yeah. Well, I mean, Chaos Knights are simple. They're exactly what they say on the tin.
them. Truth in advertising.
Yeah, it's like they're about, blood, skulls, chains, and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Brian Craig. Ooh,
Right.
this is nice. Modular Alpine
Wow.
terrain blocks out of a space and
Ooh.
chipboard. Whoa, whoa,
Wow, I love those levels. Oh my gosh.
looks huge.
Is there a mini or something nearby to sort of judge the size of this?
Let me check the other.
I
Well,
have
well, there's a couch. So unless he's a hobbit, I think that's a very large piece.
okay. That's a good size. There's so many so many places to play on that.
Yeah, and textures and
Yeah, yeah, and the greenery is so well placed because it's a stark cliff, but there's always those places where
mhm.
there's enough soil and nutrients for the greenery to take hold. And I
You
really like the way it's placed.
and you've also got always got lichen and moss and stuff. Hey, look at
Hmm.
this.
Yeah. Oh, there's two. Oh, they said. Oh, there's two. They're separate.
Uh-huh. And it
Oh,
looks
there's six of them.
and the way they're stepped, I think they can be arranged together in different ways. Ah,
That is so cool.
that is a good design. That is a
That
really
is
good design.
really cool. Yes. And so each block is an 8-inch cube. Wow.
So let's see.
This is really well done. Oh my gosh. That's exciting. I look at that and I'm like, that's I'm excited to play on that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be interested in looking into design, purely the design of this, because that is so well arranged.
Might be able to even stack them a little bit. I mean, I know that there's a base, but if you sort of disregard that, might be able to even stack them.
Okay, here they're arranged in a different way.
Yep,
Jeez,
yep. Like a canyon or something. Yeah. This is I love
this is
this.
this is genius.
Yeah. Oh my God. See, now inspiration.
Ah, look, there's even a little cave.
Oh my God. And so now does the party find the cave and be able to get through to the other side without having to deal with all the monsters that are roaming around? Yeah. I like this a lot.
It is good stuff. Honestly, this is really good stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking of something to use up some more of the paper packing stuff that I have, but I don't know. And this is giving me ideas. So
Oh
thank you
yeah.
very much, Brad Craig. This is really cool. I like it. Oh, Brad Craig says that they do stack.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay.
Yes,
I think
cool.
yeah, we have on the. There we go.
Oh,
Oh.
there it is. Yeah, see, I think that's wonderful.
Okay. No, I was kind of planning to build city terrain for the next few months. Okay, but now I've seen this and I'm like, Maybe my city could sit on a rock or something. It's like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
This, yeah, this is really, really cool. As this again, this is inspiring.
yeah, 100%, totally.
It says the cave is removable.
What?
As he said, the cave is. I mean, it's like the modularity is amazing. I love that.
Ah, okay, so I guess it's like an insert or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Huh.
Oh, sir, that is some really great work.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's see. The DMG info said it just needs playable interior caves. Oh, man.
No, they're there.
Okay, evolution of
Okay.
of gaming. We might need to start calling him King Craigs. Yep, I think that would be fair.
That is really cool. That was nice. I like that. That was a nice way to. That was nice. Again, I'm still thinking. My brain is still going, thinking about ways to ways to use that modularity and the stacking.
No,
Even a modular cave. That's great. I love that.
yeah, I mean, let's see. Someone because yes, yeah, the dungeon minister I mentioned. Just take the exact same thing, turn it facing inwards, and you have a cave system. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's so cool.
okay. Dungeon Minister, I like the sofa in the background, makes it look like a conversation piece for visitors.
Huh,
Uh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if I was a visitor there and I saw that, I would definitely be talking about it. And I mean, here we are, I mean, spread all over the world and we are talking about it.
yeah. It's a way to get visitors to start playing. It's like, well, you want to see how this is used? And get them in there.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that would work. So, yeah, it's almost, it's almost 10 here.
Mm.
So, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope we will be over again another time.
Oh, thank you so much for asking. This is really fun.
No, it's been a pleasure,
I appreciate
and
it very
it's
much.
been great to talk to face. I mean, because like I said last time, I think we've known each other for a couple of months now, but
Yeah,
most of us only knew your voice and your hands.
yeah. It was little bit by little bit, hands and voice. They,
Brad Craig says, I will eventually put it away, but I am still not tired of looking at it yet. Yeah, I can see why. I mean, yeah, but hey, if you ever want to get rid of it, my address is. No, actually, I probably don't have the space
yeah,
for it.
yeah, yeah, right. I'm looking at my pile over there off camera.
So,
Actually, I have it. I have some in the roof too, on the ceiling. I have those curtain rods, those spring-loaded curtain rods. So I have them like in the little compartments of my roof.
okay.
So then I put the board on top of that, the completed ones.
You know what you need? You need a set of, suspended table or something, and then you can pull a lever and lift it back out of place. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So again, thank you so much for joining us. And just for the record, we will not be having a stream next Sunday because that's my girlfriend's birthday. So happy birthday in advance,
Oh,
Charlene.
happy birthday.
And we'll be back the week after that with, sorry, the Sunday after that with the Dangerous Scatter Train Challenge.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Carl.
it's been a pleasure and thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so good night and good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, and thanks for visiting, for joining us.